Chapter 426. In the bedroom on the second floor of Leisure Bar, there was a flash in the void. Two beautiful figures appeared. It was actually Qinya and Donghuang Baiji. If Yihua didn't leave the house and coincidentally met with the two women, his mood would definitely be very good. After all, the two wives took the initiative to look for him, and the two wives seemed to have the intention to let go of their relationship. However, it was a pity that Yihua had brought along Big Brother Green to smash the place. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji had pondered for a very long time before they decided to come over. For the sake of their children, they were willing to take a step back. This time, the reason why Donghuang Li came over was because he wanted to discuss with Yihua about Donghuang Li's birthday party. No matter what, Donghuang Li was the little highness of Voidless Realm, and her birthday party definitely had to be held in a grand manner. In actuality, this was only one aspect of it. The main reason was that he wanted to clear up those misunderstandings with Yihua. The two women looked at the neat and tidy bed. Yihua is actually not here, and it is already 10 p.m. Was he watching cartoons in the office again? Qinya and Donghuang Baiji pushed open the door and walked into the office. Yihua wasn't in his office either. Where did Yihua go? Donghuang Baiji asked curiously. Soon after, Qinya pushed open the door of her little sister's room, and Yizizi could be seen obediently doing her homework with a cheerful smile on her face. Seems like Yizizi's mood is pretty good, she isn't complaining anymore. Meanwhile, Qin Yutong was playing games as usual, a fujoshi. Yutong, where's your brother-in-law? Qinya asked. Qin Yutong took off her headphones and turned her head around to take a look. Yizizi was the same as well. Big sister, Baiji, you two have returned. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise, then gave her big sister a big hug. Then, he pointed at his sister's stomach. Damn, she's so big. She'll be giving birth in a few months. Qinya smiled tenderly, I will be giving birth around Chinese New Year. Yizizi put down her homework and ran over to Qinya's stomach. Sister-in-law, it's so big. Stroking onto Yizizi's head, Donghuang Baiji asked with a smile, are you obedient in school? Of course, I'm prepared to get first place. After the four of them asked about Qinya's well-being, Qinya once again asked, where did your brother-in-law go? Isn't brother-in-law in his office? Qin Yutong asked puzzledly. No, I just went to take a look. Qin Yutong thought for a bit, then said, recently, the business has not been good, and brother-in-law might be drinking to drown his sorrows downstairs. However, if he knows that you two have returned, he will definitely be extremely happy. Hearing that, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji smiled. Of course, he would be happy. Now that I'm back, I'm sure that he'll be preaching to me again. Soon after, the two women walked down the stairs, and discovered, Yihua was not in Leisure Bar. Lady Boss. Wei Cheng exclaimed. The two lady boss had actually returned. Qinya felt that it was very strange. Yihua was a deep otaku, if he could not go out, then he would definitely not go out. However, within the crowd, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji noticed Zishan. This made them recall those deities and the matter of Yihua appearing in Ji family back then. Today, I have to properly ask Yihua about this matter. In the future, I won't be able to hide this matter from my wives anymore. What about Yihua? Qinya asked. Boss. Wei Cheng suddenly hesitated, because they had just been discussing this problem. Why did his honor bring along Big Brother Green and not someone else? Afterward, Wei Cheng came up with a hypothesis. Could it be that his honor used the excuse of smashing the bar to relax his mood? After all, his honor seemed to be very easily angered these few days, and he would frequently drink here and there. Right now, his honor's wife suddenly came back. If his honor were to find out that his honor went to the bar at the side to look for excitement, what would happen? This is a happy event turning into a bad thing. This made Wei Cheng stop talking. It would have been fine if Wei Cheng didn't stop, but the moment Wei Cheng stopped, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji immediately frowned. Could it be that Yihua went to look for the young miss? This kind of terrifying thought immediately emerged in the two women's minds, and their originally gentle expression immediately turned cold. I have already disregarded my former enmity and came over to show weakness, and yet, in the end, you went to look for the young miss. Aren't you angry? We are simply about to explode from anger. Speak. Where did Yihua go? Dong Huang Baiji asked coldly. Qin Ye's face was also sunken. For the two of them, who are such strong women, to be able to tolerate each other, that is already a miracle. If the two of them were to find out that Yihua had a woman outside, they would definitely go berserk. The boss went out for a walk. Wei Chang hurriedly explained, helping his honor cover up. This was simply a blatant act of concealment. Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji don't believe that Yihua would rather sit at home and watch the happy scene than go out for a walk. In the past, they would only be able to drag Yihua out for a walk after coaxing and pestering him. Qin Ye shouted out towards Tang Wei, "Xiao Tang, you speak." Tang Wei didn't know what to say. Should I listen to Uncle Wei, or should I listen to your wife? Tang Wei's hesitation allowed Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji to be sure that Yihua definitely went out to do something shameful. If not, why didn't these people say anything? Upon thinking that Yihua was currently rolling around in bed with another woman, Qin Ye and Dong Huang Baiji's eyes started emitting flames. Yi Hong. You speak. Qin Ye said coldly. Yi Hong took a look at Uncle Wei, then looked at his wife, then said while stammering, "I don't know." What a good explanation. Qin Ye slammed onto the table, "Speak. If not, I will tear down this place today." Dong Huang Baiji was so angry that her chest was heaving up and down. Later on, I will definitely catch that mistress and ruthlessly torture her. To even dare to seduce my man. Wei Chang felt that if he didn't speak, the lady boss would definitely fly into a rage. Lady boss, don't misunderstand, the boss just went to the bar next to us to smash up the place. He definitely didn't go there to pick up girls. Tang Wei felt helpless. Uncle Wei, hurry up and stop explaining, your explanations are getting more and more messy, you are simply messing up the situation. Qin Ye said angrily, all right, when we are not here, he dares to go out and pick up girls. This is infuriating. Qin Ye, let's go and catch the adulterer. All right. After finished speaking, the two women immediately rushed out of the bar. Tang Wei said helplessly, Uncle Wei, you are definitely going to be the scapegoat. Yi Hong and Zi Shan silently nodded their heads. Wei Chang was very puzzled, why am I the scapegoat? I already explained it to you just now. You might as well not have explained at all. Tang Wei shook her head. Everything about Uncle Wei is good, just that he is too honest. Yihua still didn't know that his wives had arrived and was currently walking towards the entrance of the bar. Since he wanted to stir up trouble, Yihua definitely wouldn't follow the rules. You all can line up, I will directly walk into the bar. If you all have the ability, then go ahead and stop me, that would be giving me the chance to fly into a rage. However, even though Yihua's idea was good, Yihua brought Big Brother Green and directly walked into the bar. Those foreign security guards didn't say anything, it was as if I have a VIP card. Yihua sneered in his heart. At least you all have good eyesight, knowing that I am here to smash up the place, I reckon that you all won't give me the chance to fly into a rage. Chapter 427. Little Green. Let's begin. Yihua said coldly. For the business here to be so good, all of the customers must definitely be hired. Big Brother Green did not dare to be careless. If he wanted to cause trouble, it would mean that he was going to cause trouble for no reason. Looking around, he saw that all of the booths were full, and there were still a lot of people who were still standing. This was his chance. Waiter. Get over here. If they wanted to smash the place, they had to have the momentum to do so. A foreign waiter walked over respectfully. What kind of service is this? Where are the seats? Don't tell me you want us to drink standing up. Big Brother Green questioned Yihua sternly. Yihua was very satisfied. This is the rhythm, I will slowly blow up the matter. The waiter paused and said, there is still an empty seat. Please follow me. Big Brother Green was speechless. Who are you trying to fool? Is there room for so many people? However, there was indeed a booth that wasn't occupied. This made Big Brother Green very speechless. His first act of showing off got stuck in his throat and was unable to come out. What would you like to drink? The waiter asked respectfully. Big Brother Green had another excuse. Give me the best wine you have here. My boss wants to drink. Okay, wait a moment. Everything was going according to plan. After they drank it, they would say that it was fake, then they would ask for compensation and cause trouble. Yihua didn't speak. He discovered that there were a lot of unusual people at the scene, and these foreigners should have another identity. Soon, a bottle of 1982 Lafite was served. There were also professionals opening, decanting, and pouring the wine. Yihua and Big Brother Green picked up their wine glasses and drank a mouthful of wine. Puff! Big Brother Green directly spurted out his saliva. Yihua, on the other hand, wasn't so exaggerated as to spit out his saliva. F***ck me, what kind of alcohol is this? Even a King 82 Coke is better than this. Big Brother Green shouted out angrily. Yihua leaned on the sofa and listened to what Big Brother Green said. The reason why I brought Big Brother Green out was because I wanted to relax a bit. The waiter paused for a moment, then smiled and said, I'll change it for you. Soon, another bottle of Chateau Lafite arrived, and he repeated what he had just done. Then, Big Brother Green spurted out again, you guys are scamming the consumers. Change again. Big Brother Green was speechless. He had never seen someone with such a good temper. Even after such a ruckus, he could still endure it. Another bottle. Big Brother Green changed its mode. Although it also sprayed out, it didn't need to change. I'm not drinking. This wine is too fake, pay up. The waiter asked doubtfully, how much? Big Brother Green took a look at his honor who didn't say anything, then said, 100 million. Okay, I'll go and ask my superiors. After saying that, he turned around and left. If Big Brother Green doesn't even have a reaction after all this, then he really has to give up. If you have such a good temper, then don't open a bar, because you will go bankrupt. However, Yihua didn't think so. It seems like the other party knew that I was coming. Hello, Boss Yi. A stiff Chinese voice suddenly sounded. Yihua and Big Brother Green looked over, and two Western women could be seen appearing in front of them. This is actually a pair of twins. They are exactly the same, no matter if it is their hairstyle, clothes, or figure, they are just like one person. She had a strong Western beauty, and her blonde hair was naturally hanging down to her waist. Her eyes were dark blue, and her skin was as white as paper. Yihua appeared to be very calm and collected. No matter how good-looking I am still not as beautiful as Qinya and Baiji. If I had to insist on having an advantage, then it would be the advantage of being twins. Moreover, it was a pair of vampire twins. Yihua was able to see through the two women's true bodies in an instant. Interesting. Big Brother Green looked at the pair of twins and almost drooled. Your Honor. Can I have them? Can I have some restrictions too? What distance? Time? You two know me? Yihua asked. Of course, I am ashamed to open a bar beside Boss Yi. My name is Serena, and this is my younger sister, Serena. We are Europe's sucking blood clan. Big Brother Green took in a mouthful of cold air. Vampire, your sister, just pretend that I didn't say anything, Your Honor, please don't be tricked. Yihua's interest was immediately piqued. Interesting, this is too unexpected. They actually admitted their identity. So you two are from the Sucking Blood clan, no wonder you two are so beautiful. Yihua said faintly. Serena smiled lightly, thank you for your compliment, Boss Yi. Can we sit down? Of course. Yihua's interest was piqued. Serena and Serena could be seen sitting beside Yihua. Although they weren't very close to each other, they still gave off a kind of ambiguous feeling. Serena waved her hand towards the waiter, and the waiter bowed and left. Boss Yi, you wouldn't look down on us being from the Sucking Blood clan, right? Serena asked tenderly. Yi Hua was quite fond of different races, because he was also a different race. No, but why did you two suddenly appear here? Yi Hua asked curiously. Boss Yi, to tell you the truth, my younger sister and I are not only from the Sucking Blood clan, we are also exorcists. We wander around the world, and we heard that demons are running rampant in the south, so we wanted to come and help, that's all. Serena didn't hide anything. Why are you telling me the truth? Yi Hua asked. Serena said seriously, Boss Yi, we investigated you before coming here, please forgive us. Although we didn't find anything valuable, my older sister and I feel that you are a good person. The reason why Longban City is so safe should be because of you, Boss Yi. Why is this woman's sixth sense so accurate? It is such a waste that you two didn't go and buy lottery tickets. Boss Yi, my younger sister and I feel extremely honored to be able to meet you in person. There are too few righteous people like you nowadays. Serena was definitely trying to flatter Yi Hua, but this was what Serena really wanted to say. Although the two sisters were from the Sucking Blood clan, they never did anything evil. They even built their own exorcism team to eliminate demons all over the world. Making such a big scene, you two actually wanted me to come here, right? Yi Hua didn't expect that these two women were actually quite smart. We hope that Boss Yi can forgive us for using such a method. The two sisters said apologetically. Say it, what do you two want? Serena paused for a moment and said, Boss Yi, my younger sister and I want to use this place as our base of operations to start our exorcism work. They are quite smart, by putting their base of operations right beside me, no one would dare to touch them anymore. But sometimes, it isn't good to be too smart, they actually used me as their protective umbrella. What you two want to do has nothing to do with me, but what do you want to use me for? If that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Yi Hua said coldly, warning them not to think too much and to just open your bar honestly. The two sisters hurriedly agreed and swore that they definitely wouldn't dare to have any evil thoughts. Boss Yi, don't worry, my younger sister and I definitely won't give you any trouble. Yi Hua felt that these two women were quite normal, they didn't try to seduce him with their looks. Yo, not bad, beautiful sisters, not giving me any trouble. A sour tone sounded out. Yi Hua paused for a moment. Chapter 428. Hearing this familiar voice, Yi Hua became happy and slowly raised his head. They are still the same, they did not become uglier, it's just that, Qingya's belly has become much bigger, it must have been hard on her. However, what is with that look on their faces? They actually suspect that I am picking up girls? These two foolish women, if I really wanted to pick up girls, do you think that I would be discovered by the two of you? Why are you two here? Although I am very happy in my heart, I cannot show it, lest you two discover that I am very sad when I leave you two, or that I am very happy when I see you two return. Yi Hua's attitude made Qingya and Donghuang Baiji very unhappy. In any case, we haven't seen each other for more than a month, and now that we have met, you are still picking up girls, and you are even giving us an expression, as if we are disturbing you from picking up girls. Angry, very angry, let's go. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji turned around and left. This caused Yi Hua to go into a daze. What is the meaning of this? Leaving right after coming here? I haven't even taught you two a lesson yet. Furthermore, this is my territory, is it a place where you two can come and go as you please? Yi Hua stood up and followed after them. These are the two lady boss's wives? As expected, they are as beautiful as goddesses. Selena muttered, and envy could be seen in her eyes. Big Brother Green took a glare at the two sisters. You two have caused trouble. What should we do then? Selena asked anxiously. Big Brother Green has to think of a way for his honor. Yi Hua, who was following after them, snorted, stop right there. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, who were in front of Yi Hua, didn't pay attention to Yi Hua at all and walked out of 7 Bar. Yi Hua followed closely behind them. Looking at the two familiar back figures that were carrying traces of stubbornness, Yi Hua sighed in his heart. I can't even afford to offend these two women, let alone others. I have been in a cold war for more than a month. Although I have been wanting to teach them a lesson, I have been missing them more and more. Now that they have come to find me, they definitely have the intention to lower their heads. Since that's the case, I have to give them a way out. Yihua could be seen walking forward with large strides, one on each hand, and hugging the two wives into his embrace. What a familiar feeling. The fragrance that their bodies are emitting is still the same, the softness is still the same. It has been more than a month, but it feels like a few years. Let go. Let me go. The two little wild cats struggled with all their might, and right at this moment, Yihua decided to use a big move that would definitely be able to destroy the weakest line of defense in the two little wild cats' hearts. It wasn't that I, the Supreme Overlord, was bragging, but the moment I said this sentence, I guarantee that the two little wild cats would be bewitched to the point that they wouldn't be able to find their north, and they would be completely defeated within my chest. I miss you guys. Even though they were just 5 simple words, they contained the might of the heavens and earth, and they swept over with a momentum that could cause the seas to dry up and the rocks to crumble. Of course, I, the Supreme Overlord, don't really want it, I just want it a little bit, don't misunderstand. Whoever misunderstood would be silenced. As expected. The two wild cats in his arms gradually stopped moving. These 5 words were also what they were thinking in their hearts, and these 5 words instantly opened up their thoughts. Just like what Yihua had said, they were drunk, facing against their husband's sweet offensive. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were utterly defeated. Yihua had never said such words to them before, and at most, he would give them all kinds of lessons. Seeing that his wives had softened, Yihua exerted strength into his arms, allowing them to feel the heat of my chest. This way, they would no longer be able to leave my body. Don't say it. Lai Gu's plan is not bad. Hugging onto the most beautiful woman in the world, this feeling is not an ordinary feeling of beauty. If I were to use a word to describe this feeling, that would be, this feels great. After hugging for a long while, Yihua said faintly, let's go home. Soon after, he let go of his wives, held onto their hands, and walked towards the bar that was completely empty. However, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were just like 2 daughters-in-law that had yet to marry into their family, and their faces were completely red. In their hearts, they were cursing at Yihua for being shameless. To actually use a sweet offensive, making it impossible for them to guard against it. In Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's hearts, they never would have thought that Yihua would say such a thing. Those 5 words were too enchanting, and even their hearts were intoxicated by them. When Yihua appeared in the bar while holding on to his wives, Wei Cheng and the others were so shocked that their jaws were about to drop out. Don't look at how his honor's expression was calm, but the corner of his mouth that was slightly arched upwards was announcing to everyone that the 2 women were once again taken care of by me. No matter how much they jump, they will not be able to escape from my palms. His honor is too awesome. Just a moment ago, his honor's wife ran out of the bar angrily, and in the blink of an eye, his honor walked back into the bar shyly. Just what method did his honor use to coax his honor's wife? This is simply too miraculous. As expected of his honor, his magic is boundless. Holding on to his honor's tender hands, Yihua felt that he had a lot of face in front of his subordinates. Tonight, I have to properly relive the pleasure I had back then. Lai Gu has a good saying, when women are bored, they will make a fuss. Therefore, only by making them not feel bored will I be able to not feel bored. For example, sleeping until the afternoon. Then, how am I supposed to sleep until the afternoon? I have to stay up all night, but what am I supposed to stay up all night for? What else can I do? A man and a woman, could it be that they are going to stay up all night to play games? Yihua, wait a minute. Donghuang Baiji suddenly shouted out tenderly. Hearing this voice, Yihua's chest trembled. Thinking back to that night 3 years ago, Donghuang Baiji was still relatively young and inexperienced, and right now, she was just like a ripe peach, waiting for him to spoil. Yihua asked faintly, what's wrong? First, I played the good cop, and now, I played the bad cop, to let them know that I am the head of the family. Zishan, you are a deity, right? Dong Huang Baiji suddenly asked. Yi Hua was startled. How did Baiji know that Zishan is a deity? Back then, when Ho Xuelin's 3 subordinates brought the portrait of Zishan to look for Dong Huang Baiji, Yi Hua knew that Zishan was a deity. Zishan nodded her head, that's right. Yi Hua, sit down first, this is a very troublesome matter. Qingya was worried. Back then, after that crown prince ran away, he will definitely come back. At that time, there will definitely be more people coming. Yi Hua did not say anything and directly sat down. Zishan, the deity sent 2 groups of people over, and there is also a crown prince. Qingya's tone was filled with worry, completely unaware that Yi Hua had already exterminated the royal family. Zishan said in a low voice, Lady Boss, you can be at ease, I have already come to an agreement with the other side, and the misunderstanding has already been resolved. Fortunately, I met the boss, and it was him who pulled me out from the abyss of pain. Then, I met Yi Hong, I am very happy right now. Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji were a bit surprised, and they turned their heads around and looked towards Yi Hua. Yi Hua lit up a cigarette and nodded his head. Yi Hua, back then, were you at Ji family? Qingya asked curiously. Yi Hua puffed out a mouthful of smoke, that's right, I met Zishan at Ji family. Chapter 429. As for why, how can I just sit and do nothing when Ji family did such a thing that angered even the gods? They used such cruel methods to kill hundreds of family heads. If no one comes forward to give them an explanation, how can the souls of the deceased rest in peace? Yi Hua's acting skills had improved by another level. It was clearly you who arranged for Zhu Tian to let those people in, then used someone else to do the dirty work for you. After that, you even went over to kill those people with a strong sense of righteousness. Seeing that the 2 women were not speaking, Yi Hua said gravely, if the 2 of you feel that what I did was wrong, then leave. Those who walk different paths cannot make plans together. Hearing what Yi Hua said, the 2 women's hearts trembled. Their hearts are tied up by Yi Hua, it is impossible for them to leave. After saying what Yi Hua said, Yi Hua became rather nervous. This is a gamble, if I win the gamble, they won't say anything about what I do in the future. If I lose, it would be game over. Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji let out a deep sigh, then sat beside Yi Hua and held onto his hand, using their actions to show that they were standing on their husband's side. Seeing that your wife is so understanding of his honor, Wei Cheng felt at ease. However, if Qingya and Dong Huang Baiji were to find out that Yi Hua was still lying to them, they would definitely explode. From a small lie at the start, to using even more lies to cover up that lie, gradually, it became a huge lie. I never lie, and even if I lie, it is a white lie. Boss. Lady Boss. You 2 misunderstood, they are my girlfriends. Big Brother Green could be seen pulling Serena and running into the shop. Big Brother Green's method was to let the 2 sisters pretend to be his girlfriends and dispel his wife's suspicions. This made Big Brother Green become even more ruthless. While pulling the 2 vampires, his entire body felt numb. Big Brother, why did you bring 2 vampires with you? Yi Hong was dumbstruck. I only left for half an hour, and this happened. They are even more awesome than me, and they are even 2 foreign ladies, they are exactly the same. Big Brother Green glared at his underling, what do you know, this is true love, Lady Boss, don't misunderstand. Yi Hua carried the 2 wives and went upstairs. Qingya turned her head around and said with a smile, there is no misunderstanding, you 2 can get along well. Big Brother Green was a bit stupefied. What is going on, why is the Lady Boss so happy? Big Brother, the Lady Boss did not misunderstand anything. Yi Hong explained. No? Then what was the point of acting, holding the hands of 2 vampires? Big Brother Green hurriedly let go of Serena and Serena's hands. Thinking about that vampire's original form, his entire body felt goosebumps. The 2 sisters pursed their lips, feeling a little shy. They had never been held by a man in their lives, and their first time was given to the same man. Was this fate? Nice to meet you guys. Feel free to drop by whenever you have time." The two sisters said their goodbyes and hurriedly went back. Tang Wei watched as the two beautiful sisters ran away, then looked at Big Brother Green, who had an uncomfortable expression on his face. "LV Liang, your luck with women isn't bad, ah. Sister-in-law, don't tease me anymore. Those two are vampires. They are just like mosquitoes that suck human blood." Upon thinking about it, Lulu's entire body went numb. Don't, even if you beat me to death, I don't want it, is that so? I think they're interested in you." Zishan also began to tease LV Tao. Those two sisters are rather pure, which means that they are both good women. Lulu laughed dryly. "Zishan, don't mess with me, we can't do that." Everyone laughed but didn't say anything. Although it was a bit of a joke, this joke was pretty good too. Yihua carried his two wives and directly came to the bedroom. This caused Qinya and Donghuang Baiji's hearts to be in a mess, as if this was the first time they came to the bedroom. "Do I shower first, or do you two shower first?" Yihua looked at his two wives and was already unable to hold back his impatience. A raging fire was already burning in his stomach, and he wished that he could bite the two of them into pieces. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji escaped from their husband's embrace and held hands, looking just like a frightened rabbit. And right now, Yihua was the big bad wolf. "Yihua, we." Qinya didn't know what to say anymore. Donghuang Baiji's heart was beating rapidly. "I was clearly angry at Yihua, why did it become like this?" Yihua said indifferently. "Qinya, Baiji, this bedroom has created two lives. Don't the two of you want to enjoy the process of creating two lives?" Qinya and Donghuang Baiji were startled. "If we don't leave now and get caught by Yihua, we will be dead for sure." That ferocious night was still vivid in their minds. "Although we have reconciled now, you can't," Donghuang Baiji said hurriedly. She wasn't mentally prepared at all. Qinya said in a low voice, "Let's go." Yihua sneered, "Want to leave? How can it be that easy?" Yihua grabbed towards Donghuang Baiji, who was the closest to him. "Qinya, save me." Donghuang Baiji was immediately pulled out by Yihua, and Qinya was lucky enough to escape from this calamity. Yihua didn't mind. "In any case, the two of them wouldn't be serving me together, so I'll just grab one of them first and settle the raging fire within my body." Donghuang Baiji tried to push Yihua away with all her might and begged, "Yihua, don't be like this, I am still not ready yet." This begging tone of hers caused Yihua's bestial nature to become even more berserk. These two women's appearance had already reached the pinnacle of perfection, and only an outstanding man like me would be able to enjoy their delicate bodies. "Your Majesty, let me serve you in bed tonight." With a crafty smile on his face, Yihua said gravely. Upon hearing this, Donghuang Baiji's heart was about to jump out. "Yihua, don't, woo." Before Donghuang Baiji could finish speaking, Yihua sealed Donghuang Baiji's cherry lips, and Donghuang Baiji's hands even more ferociously tore off the clothes on the Empress's body. After revealing that indescribable body of hers, Yihua became even more greedy. He ruthlessly pressed the Empress onto the bed and enjoyed the pleasure that was brought to him by every inch of her skin. Meanwhile, Donghuang Baiji's beautiful face was about to drip blood. This kind of redness spread throughout her entire body, making her look even more alluring. "Yihua," Donghuang Baiji couldn't help but call out to Yihua. The fire in her heart had already been ignited by her husband. The meaning of this sentence was very clear. "Don't torture me anymore. Hurry up." Yihua enjoyed the pleasure that was brought to him by his wife's body and said in a low voice, "Baiji, give me another child." And Donghuang Baiji let out a nasal sound, and her pair of beautiful eyes were filled with tears. This wasn't because she was moved, this was because she was about to go berserk from being kissed by her husband. Yihua ruthlessly penetrated into her body. After 3 years, he was once again able to enjoy the Empress's gentle beauty. The feeling he felt was still as explosive as before, and in fact, he was even more excited than back then. Meanwhile, the Empress's pair of delicate hands were grabbing onto her husband's back, and her fingernails were already digging into Yihua's flesh. It was clear that she was a bit unable to endure it, and on her face, there was a look of pain and happiness. Half an hour later. Chapter 430. Yihua pushed aside Dongwang Baiji's hair. Do you know why we were able to have Ali in one go? Dongwang Baiji thought to herself. Yihua's crooked logic is going to come out again. Because we spent an entire night that day. Yihua stretched out his hand and pinched his wife's cheeks, feeling the tenderness of her skin. Dongwang Baiji wasn't going to fall for Yihua's trick. She pressed onto her husband's chest with both of her hands, but now, it's different from the past. That was a one-night stand. We are husband and wife now. We still have a lot of time in the future. We have to, Baiji, giving birth is a physical labor. We have to grasp every single second. You just enjoy the process of giving birth to a child. Dongwang Baiji shouted out strenuously. Dongwang Baiji was forced to retreat step by step. Yihua laughed lightly, killing two birds with one stone, isn't it? You bastard. Quickly stop. I won't stop for the rest of my life. The battle continued all the way until the sky gradually turned bright. Yihua hugged onto the Empress who had already fainted and let out a long breath. My waist is a bit uncomfortable, looks like I have to strengthen my body, at least I can't let my waist get sore. Yihua lightly wiped away the tears at the corner of Dongwang Baiji's eyes. These should be tears of joy. However, looking at Dongwang Baiji's delicate look, Yihua became a bit restless. After thinking about it, I decided to let the Empress rest for a while. This woman, no matter how high her cultivation is, she just can't do this kind of thing. However, thinking about Dongwang Baiji's cultivation, Yihua decided to change it. Dongwang Baiji wanted to give birth to a boy. That way, there would be hope for her to awaken the power of the East Emperor's bloodline. However, from Yihua's point of view, my bloodline is the strongest. Ali is able to perform very well, so I shall let Baiji awaken her bloodline by herself. Yihua lightly pressed onto the Empress's chest. Don't misunderstand, I am just casting a spell. Damn it, I am clearly taking advantage of her. A gentle golden light appeared on Yihua's hand, and soon after, it entered Dongwang Baiji's body. Looking around, Dongwang Baiji's entire body was dyed with golden light, to the point that her entire body had become transparent. Originally, Dongwang Baiji was the descendant of Emperor Dongwang, and she was still able to use the weakened version of her bloodline's power. Yihua's attack instantly activated Dongwang Baiji's bloodline. The so-called awakening of the bloodline was equivalent to activating the bloodline in the body. In fact, everyone in the bloodline had it was just that they could not activate it. Gradually, the golden light on Dongwang Baiji's body disappeared. Yihua looked at the Empress who had just awakened, and that pure and holy face of hers had undoubtedly caused Yihua's heart to beat once again. I, the Supreme Overlord, am too mesmerized by the fact that I am able to press my lovely wife under my body once again. Dongwang Baiji, who was in a deep sleep, was once again woken up by her husband's intense movements. Yihua, can you let me rest for a while? It has already been an entire night, Yihua said gravely. Life lies in movement, and this is even more so in the morning. I will fight you to the death. Dongwang Baiji actually flipped over and pressed Yihua down. Only now did she have the aura of a queen. Within Qin Yutong's room, right now, Qin Yutong and Yi Zizi were using pillows to cover their ears. They had already been messing around for an entire night, and before they could even rest for a bit, they had already started again. This was simply not human. Yi Zizi was still fine, but Qin Yutong was suffering. Hearing this kind of sound was too terrifying for a virgin like her. Right now, inside a certain majestic castle in Europe, a meeting was currently being held. There was a total of 11 people, 8 males and 3 females. One of the males was sitting on a chair that was made out of gold, and all of the males were wearing black suits, even the 3 females were wearing black suits. My emperor, the 2 princesses of the vampires have already been found, they are currently in Huaxia's Long and city. One of the males bowed and said. The man who was sitting on the main seat said faintly, this time, we cannot let them escape. The purest blood of the vampires is extremely rare, and furthermore, it is enough to refine into blood wings. With that, I, the Emperor, will no longer have to fear the main gods. My emperor, please be at ease. Subordinate has already planted the people in Long and City, and they are currently waiting to be captured. Very good. This time, we cannot afford to make any more mistakes. Yes. The man who was sitting on the main seat took a deep breath. How is the investigation of the incident that happened last time going? At this moment, a voluptuous woman walked out and said respectfully, My emperor, we are still in the midst of searching for that little girl. Wasted one of my primordial godly items. If that little girl could be of use to me, I would have long kicked over all of the gods in the shrine. The man suddenly became very irritable. Back then, when I found the little girl, she was still in a deep sleep. Originally, I wanted to directly kill the little girl, but in the end, the little girl was actually impervious to swords and spears. In the end, after investigating, I found out that the little girl was very terrifyingly strong. Therefore, I didn't hesitate to use the primordial godly item, Soul Devourer, to change the little girl's thinking and make her submit to me. Everything was going well, but suddenly, one day, I was told that all of the priests were dead, and the little girl was gone. Therefore, I can only look for other methods, and lock onto the two princesses of the vampires. However, I still didn't give up on searching for the little girl. After my emperor has refined the purest blood of the vampires, we will definitely be able to defeat all of the gods. The man slowly stood up, and on his back, 6 pure black wings actually unfolded. Demon King Lucifer. Leisure Bar's second-floor bedroom. It was already noon. Yi Hua was hugging onto the soft empress, and his pair of big hands were wandering around the wilderness. Yi Hua, stop messing around. I don't even have the strength to move my fingers right now. Dong Wang Baiji leaned onto her husband's embrace and said tenderly. She felt that her entire body was about to fall apart, and she didn't want to move at all. Looking at the empress's current state, Yi Hua already understood that Lai Gu's theory was correct. Right now, don't talk about messing around. Dong Wang Baiji didn't even have the strength to speak. To be able to make the most beautiful woman in the world into this state, Yi Hua felt especially great. What do you want to eat? I will prepare it for you. Yi Hua lightly caressed onto his wife's hair and asked concernedly. Baiji had worked hard this night. Dong Wang Baiji moved slightly. I don't want to eat, just let me rest. How can that be? We still have to continue tonight. Dong Wang Baiji felt like she was going to die. We still have to do it tonight. I don't want to. Dong Wang Baiji said dizzily. She clearly wanted to refuse, but this powerless refusal made Yi Hua feel something again. Let's do it again then. Ah. Go and call Qinya, don't mess with me anymore. Qinya won't be able to run away either. It is more important for us to give birth to a child. Let's relax a bit, this is a very beautiful thing. You. If Dong Wang Baiji knew that such a thing would happen when she came yesterday, she wouldn't have come even if she was beaten to death. Compared to 3 years ago, Yi Hua was even more ferocious. If it was an ordinary woman, how would she be able to endure it? She would definitely be killed by Yi Hua. Let's go look for his honor and ask for a physical body. Zi Shan said. Sun Fang let out a long sigh of relief. I'm stuck at this point. If I let him do it, he'll be shy. If I were to do it, how could I, a girl, open my mouth? You are making me feel like I really want to. Don't you want to? Zi Shan was really straightforward, causing Sun Fang's beautiful face to turn bright red. They were simply 3 resentful women. It wasn't that the men couldn't do it, but that the men didn't even want to have sex with them. Tang Wei, what about you? Could it be that Uncle Wei still doesn't have any? Sun Fang asked curiously. Tang Wei wiped the glass cup that was in her hands. She had been wiping the glass cup for the entire night. Uncle Wei, I don't know what to say either. I don't even want to hint at him anymore. He can touch it whenever he wants to, let's just leave it to fate. Seems like Tang Wei has already seen through everything. No matter how crazily she tries to hint at Uncle Wei will not understand. Even if I strip naked and stand in front of Uncle Wei actually said, Aya, why aren't you wearing your clothes? You will catch a cold, quickly put on your clothes. From that moment onwards, Tang Wei completely gave up, because if she were to continue to hint at Uncle Wei, Tang Wei was afraid that she would suffer from internal injuries. Zishan said vexedly, I shouldn't have agreed to Yi Hong back then. Tang Wei smiled, Zishan, with your figure, just a little bit of temptation will do. My Uncle Wei doesn't even fall for temptation. Tang Wei, do you think that I have never tried to seduce someone before? I specially went to Jingdong to buy a set of see-through clothes, and in the end, do you know what Yi Hong said to me? Tang Wei and Sun Fang immediately became curious. For a man to be able to resist Zishan's temptation, that is also a miracle. Yi Hong actually said, it's going to be Double 11 soon, and when that time comes, he should go and buy a discount. At that time, if King wanted to break his legs. After finished speaking, Zishan was angered to the point of laughing. Tang Wei and Sun Fang also laughed. I am already dressed like this, and he actually wants to buy a discount, oh my god. Zishan covered onto her face, and had a look that seemed as if she had nothing left to live for. Tang Wei patted onto Zishan's shoulder, seems like we have met an honest and straightforward man. Sun Fang let out a breath. The little skeleton shouldn't be this honest and straightforward. After all, he doesn't have any flesh, so there's nothing I can do about it. Right at this moment, Tang Wei said in a low voice, do you guys know about Zhu Tian? Sun Fang and Zishan nodded their heads. They had met before, but they weren't familiar with each other. I heard from Uncle Wei that Zhu Tian has 2 women that he does every day. Whoosh, these 3 women are truly bored to death, to actually start gossiping about this kind of thing. Furthermore, upon hearing about this kind of thing, their saliva almost flowed out from their mouths. Sun Fang also said in a low voice, Lai Gu seems to be the same as well, I really envy them. The 3 women let out a long sigh and looked towards the men who were not far away. Men naturally wouldn't discuss about this kind of low-level interest, it's simply too vulgar. Too vulgar. Wei Chang held onto his phone and tightly wrinkled his brows. Death Mage, how many balls did you buy? 3 balls, Manchester United wins. Death Mage was full of confidence and directly placed his bet. Betting? This is my specialty. Not that I am boasting, but I will definitely be able to lead everyone to a prosperous life. Yi Hong, how much did you buy? The big brother LV Liang took a glance at Yi Hong, and Yi Hong immediately shrunk back. LV Liang raised his hand and slapped, don't think that just because you have a wife, I don't dare to hit you. Your wife even told me to keep a close eye on you, quickly let me take a look. Yi Hong paused for a moment, then said in a low voice, don't tell Zishan, I was saving it to buy a bag for her. Alright, I won't tell her. LV Liang took a look and sucked in a cold breath, K, aren't you afraid of getting beaten up by your wife? This little brother actually bet 5,000 RMB. That's 2 months' salary, you and Zishan only get 5,000 RMB a month, and you used all of that to bet. LV Liang seemed to have already seen his little brother kneeling on the keyboard, and Zishan sitting at the side looking at him coldly. The multiplier is very high, if I were to win, would be able to earn tens of thousands of yuan. What's more, Big Brother Skeleton said that he is the god of gamblers. Yi Hong had blind trust in Death Mage. One must know that Death Mage was also someone who lived in a villa in the past, and after a match, he would immediately sleep on the overpass. Big Brother, how much did you buy? Yi Hong instantly took a peek at Death Mage, then immediately cried out in surprise, 10,000 RMB. Shoo! Be quiet, this is my wife's money. Wei Chang felt that he was able to trust his little brother. I still have tens of thousands of yuan in savings, and I was originally planning to use it for my wedding, so I might as well take a gamble. Changing a bicycle into a motorcycle, giving Xiao Tang a better wedding, I can't let others suffer. Chapter 432. Death Mage had a mysterious amount of confidence towards himself. He had bet all of his money, which was a few 100,000. After he wins, he will go and show off in front of Sun Fang. In the future, if you want to top up your money, you have to call me master, or else I won't top up my money. Besides, I'm no longer interested in cheating anymore. Wei Chang switched on the TV in the hall and put it on CCTV 5. It was about to start. The four men were very excited. This could be considered a bet. They couldn't lose. The three women sitting at the side were very curious. Why did these four men start watching football? Were they all so bored? However, Sun Fong still didn't know about Death Mage's dark history. That was because when they met, Death Mage had already sworn that he would no longer gamble on football anymore. Therefore, they didn't think too much about it, and the three women continued to chat about the vulgar topic. It couldn't be helped. They had a common topic, and the more they talked, the more enthusiastic they became. She was completely unaware that the men had already begun to gamble. LV Liang was fine. She was single, so no one would care even if she lost all her money. Yi Hong was different. He was a man with a family, and he still had to support his wife. Wei Chang was also the same. Although he was not married, he had already regarded Tang Wei as his lifelong companion. Death Mage was still as confident as ever. The ball's in. Manchester United scored the first goal of the game. Along with the commentator's high-pitched voice, the four men hammered the table. Bang! Instantly, it broke into pieces. The three women frowned and looked over. Why are you so excited about scoring a goal? I've never seen you guys watch football before. Wei Chang said in a low voice, calm down. Isn't it just a goal? Look at you guys, keep your cool. The three subordinates remained silent. Just now, Uncle Wei, you were the one who hammered harder. Very quickly, the first half of the game was over. Ever since that goal was scored, there was nothing else. The four men were in low spirits. Death Mage said, don't be anxious, there is still the second half. The second half began. Manchester United scored a goal in an instant, 2-0. The four men suppressed the excitement in their hearts and said in a low voice. Another goal. A bicycle turned into a motorbike. Yi Hong began to daydream. I won the bet, and I even won a lot of money. Will Zishan give me a kiss? Just thinking about it makes me excited. Yi Hong was not the only one filling in the blanks, the other three were also doing the same. 90 minutes were almost up, and he still had to score a goal. Death Mage was already unable to control his desire to cheat. If I don't score a goal after playing for 90 minutes. For Master. He had to cheat as well. He had to emphasize that this was not for himself, but for his master. I want to improve. 3 o'clock. Manchester United will go down another level in the 90th minute. The sudden joy shocked all four of them. They had won. Death Mage, very quickly, the Green and Red brothers also joined in the celebration. This made the leisure bar, which was facing bankruptcy, become even more lively. Ooh, 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 ooh. Wei Chang was still calm. As the boss, how could he shake his butt to celebrate? He had to tell Tang Bingyao the good news. The three women looked at their sudden excitement and were speechless. How old were they, but they were still like children. Xiao Tang, come over here. I have a piece of good news for you. Wei Chang waved his hand towards Tang Wei. GGG, Royal Translation, ugly woman, come here quickly. Big brother has won money, millions. Yi Hong was also very excited. Zishan, I have a piece of good news for you too. Big brother LV Liang was actually unable to share this moment of joy with his girlfriend. He felt that life was so bitter, he was the only single dog in the team. The three women walked over to their men's side curiously, wanting to hear what kind of good news it was. Just as the three men were preparing to show off, the commentator's excited voice suddenly rang out from the television again. Manchester United scored another goal. They actually scored another goal during the stoppage time. Let us congratulate Manchester United for winning against their opponent with a score of 4 o'clock. At that very moment, the smile on the faces of the four men froze. Death Mage's smile did not count, he had been frozen the entire time. 4 o'clock. Why did it become like this? A match was obviously played for 90 minutes, why was there a need for stoppage time? Even if there was a need for stoppage time, why did you have to score another goal? Don't you know that a lot of people would jump off a building because of this? May I ask the brother who scored the goal in the end, do you know that you are a murderer? This was the rhythm of falling from heaven to hell. What should I do now? My wife is already in front of me, and he even said that he was going to tell her good news. Could it be that I gambled, and I clearly won just now, but in the end, I lost again? The three women immediately felt that something was amiss. Just a moment ago, their faces were still filled with joy, but when they heard that Manchester United scored another goal, their faces immediately darkened. Zishan looked towards Yihong with a smile and asked, "Hubby, what good news is it?" "I'm panicking. I'm really panicking. I'm so panicking, how am I supposed to reply?" Sun Fang seemed to have sensed something and asked Death Mage, "Did you gamble on a football match?" Hearing that, Tang Wei looked at Wei Chong in disbelief. "Uncle Wei, did you gamble on a football match?" Yihong, "Did you gamble on a football match as well?" Zishan questioned angrily. LV Liang suddenly felt that he was very happy. This is the happiness of being a single dog. "Look, even if I lost, I didn't get any blame from my girlfriend." All the men remained silent. "Uncle Wei, why did you guys gamble on a football match?" Tang Wei said with hidden bitterness. "Uncle Wei, you even got involved in gambling, why aren't you willing to get involved in gambling on a football match with me?" The three of them immediately pointed at Death Mage. Death Mage immediately became stupefied. "In the beginning, I was the only one betting, and it was you guys who were asking me what this was all about. In the end, you guys couldn't resist the temptation and joined in as well. If you guys didn't join in, would I be able to bet a few 100,000? I would definitely only bet around 10 to 20,000. Sun Fang was flustered and exasperated. She shouted, "Good for you. You don't learn good things all day and bring boss to gamble with others. Let me see how much you've lost." Sun Fang picked up Death Mage's phone and took a look at it, and she immediately felt dizzy. Right now, Death Mage doesn't have any source of income, and he is still living off his previous capital. And now, Death Mage just lost a few 100,000 in one go. Grabbing onto the Death Mage's robe, Yu Yang picked up the death scythe that was at the side and scolded while walking, "You damn skeleton, after losing so much money, just wait and see how I'm going to kill you when we get back. Don't even think about topping up money to play games." Seeing that Death Mage was being dragged away by Sun Fang, the three men swallowed their saliva. "Luckily, I didn't gamble too much, but what was the difference? They were all gambling." Tang Wei took a look at Wei Chang's phone and immediately felt a bit dizzy. However, she didn't scold Wei Chang like how Sun Fang did. She walked to the side and sat down. Meanwhile, Zi Shan also picked up Yihong's phone and took a look at it, and the corner of her mouth twitched. "Yihong, you are truly becoming more and more formidable. To actually dare to gamble 5,000 RMB. Our 1 month's wages have all been gambled away by you. Are we going to eat dirt this month? We don't have to pay property fees, we don't have to pay electricity and water fees, and we don't have to pay gas fees either. Forget about the cosmetics, I don't need to put on makeup, but there should at least be 1 or 2 pieces of clothing, right? You still said that you want to wait until your career is successful, but from what I see, don't wait until your career is successful, you should just go back and give birth to your child first." Zi Shan was rather smart, using this as a pretext to make a fuss. Yihong felt that his face had lost all face. "Since I am being looked down upon by my wife, I must definitely make some achievements for my wife to see, I can't let her look down on me. LV Shu, as the big brother, why didn't you persuade him?" Zi Shan said towards Big Brother Green. Chapter 433. Wei Cheng sighed deeply. He walked toward Tang Bingyao and sat down beside her. He did not know how to comfort Tang Bingyao, so he simply hugged her gently in his arms to express his apology. Seeing that Uncle Wei had succeeded, Yi-hong also wanted to follow suit. However, Yi-hong overestimated her position in the family. Her ears were immediately grabbed. "Speak. Are you going to give birth or not?" Yi-hong's attitude was very firm. "Honey, don't worry. I won't let you down." Zishan was slightly startled. "I agreed to it so quickly today, causing me to feel a bit embarrassed. I will work harder in the future and become a man worthy of you. When that time comes, I am willing to sacrifice myself." Hearing what Yi-hong said, Zishan's bashful little face froze, and soon after, she sent her little fist towards Yi-hong. "I'll beat the shit out of you, you heartless man, you only know how to bully me." The small fists pounding on her chest were quite comfortable. Yi-hong imitated Uncle Wei and hugged his wife in his arms to comfort her. LV Liang was no longer able to continue watching this. Look at his honor, he has never displayed his dog food in front of his subordinates before. "I'll just go out to get some fresh air and smoke a cigarette." He wanted to relax and wait until he returned to achieve his dreams with his own two hands. Everything was arranged in an open manner. While smoking the cigarette, LV Liang slowly raised his head and looked towards the sky. To think that there would still be birdmen appearing tonight, this is really like seeing a ghost. Just when LV Liang wanted to return to Leisure Bar, that group of birdmen actually landed in 7 Bar. This made LV Liang, who was about to enter, stop in her tracks. "I, the dignified left protector of the Burying Love clan, will not meddle in other people's business, even if I lose everything. Furthermore, his honor didn't even ask me to take care of them, so why should I bother to take care of them? They are vampires, wake up, they aren't even humans. Who knows, they might have a bunch of sharp teeth down there, and if I were to bite them off, they might just snap them off." Thinking up to here, LV Liang shivered, and decided not to bother about it anymore. LV Liang suddenly looked up and saw the group of birdmen grabbing 2 pure white figures and flying into the night sky. "It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me." LV Lu let out a light sigh. "Who asked me to be a good person? I can't bear to see other people bullying girls, just that this girl is a vampire. Although I don't know if she has any, it would be good if I could just take a look at her. I am unlucky today to meddle in other people's business." Thinking about it, Yi-hong, I didn't say. LV Liang, who was following behind, saw that the 7 people in front of her had landed. She also hid quietly and peeped at the side. These foreigners' influence was quite complicated. 5 people actually came to capture 2 girls. Look at His honor, with 10 plus of he, his. And Xiao, Tian. Xiao Tian, Liang. Xiao Cheng, he, I Xiao Hao Tian, the and the to Xiao tu. The 2. Liang, Tian, Liang, and said, Liang. The Tang the yes to Liang to say, Liang, the Bing Yao the yen, came, and started. At this moment, the 2 sisters were tied up. LV Liang had seen this binding technique before. It was quite professional and was commonly known as Asian binding. As, he. To, he. The prettier a woman is, the more likely she is to lie. My big brother Green has suffered losses before, you guys are unable to move my heart. Serena, contributing to the great Lucifer is your greatest honor. The one who spoke was called Julia, she had a voluptuous figure and seemed very charming. However, LV Liang felt that this person was even more not his type, she was more like an obeson. However, there is actually Lucifer, the demon king in the novels. I didn't expect that there would really be such a demon king in this world. Then, are the European gods real as well? Serena said coldly, even if we were to be wanted by a dog, we would still not yield to Lucifer. LV Liang felt that Serena's words were a bit too much, it can't be described like that, after all, humans and animals have different tastes. The younger sister, Selena, said in a sweet voice, kill us. Big sister and I will not contribute our purest blood. He contribute or not, it is not up to you guys to decide, my emperor will naturally have a way to pry open your legs. Taylor let out that obscene laughter. This man and woman were 2 of the 10 demon generals under Lucifer, they were 4 winged dark angels, and the other 3 men were 2 winged soldiers, there was no need to be afraid of them. LV Liang felt that Taylor was shameless. Back then, when I read novels, I liked Lucifer, but I didn't expect that Lucifer would actually do such a despicable thing in real life. If it was me, I will definitely use my love to open their legs. It is about time for me to go on stage. LV Liang took out his hair wax. That's right, Big Brother Green is currently carrying hair wax with him, all because he wants to imitate his honor's expression. Yihua lightly pinched. Puff. This is just like farting, it is a bit awkward. Who? The birdman could be seen immediately standing up and looking around vigilantly. The two sisters who were tied up were also looking around curiously. If someone were to come and save them right now, they will definitely repay the hero with their lives. LV Liang hurriedly squeezed out the hair wax and smeared it on his hair, then combed it back. Yihua took out a small mirror from his windbreaker and took a look at his appearance. All right. It is time for me to go on stage. LV Liang could be seen standing with his hands behind his back, imitating his honor's walking posture and expression. Chapter 434. How gentlemanly, Serene, his little fangirl, shouted in infatuation. Although her sister, Serena, didn't show it, she felt that LV Liang was very manly. He actually dared to save her and her sister single-handedly. The other party was a demon general under Lucifer. His combat power was terrifying. With this courage, he had already obtained his affirmation. His younger sister was already beyond crazy. Lulu let out a light sigh. Ever since she started following his honor, she felt that she had become more confident, more energetic, and greener. Lulu said to the two sisters, "Don't misunderstand, and don't have any other thoughts towards me. There will never be a happy ending between us." "Sister, he's so tasty." Serene had a lot of complaints. Suddenly encountering such a man, she couldn't control herself. "Well, it's indeed very tasty." After saying that, he even licked the corner of his mouth. F***ck, you guys actually want to suck me. Vampires indeed. Always thinking about sucking people. Shut up, all of you. Julia shouted angrily. What do you mean by this? He was still in the mood to talk about love. LV Liang said to the two sisters, "Now that you're safe, take a taxi back." "I don't have money." "I have money," Serene said hastily. "Oh my god, they actually want to use money to smash me. Kill." Taylor couldn't take it anymore. The 4 black wings on his back spread out in an instant. A 2-handed sword appeared in his hand and he slashed at LV Liang. Piercingly cold sword energy swept through the surroundings, while the voluptuous Julia transformed into a trident and attacked at top speed. Facing the attacks of the demon generals, LV Liang put away her smile and raised her hands. He caught the blade with his bare hands. "Are you afraid or not?" Boom! The two sisters were dumbstruck as they looked at the scene. He surrendered just like that. The way LV Liang raised her hands made the sisters think that she was surrendering. If LV Liang knew about this, she really wouldn't know what to say. "I am the subordinate of his honor's subordinate. Although my level is the lowest, that is only within the team." After the smoke dispersed, the two sisters stared dumbfoundedly, their exquisite little faces filled with astonishment. He had actually caught the attacks of 2 great demon generals barehanded. How was this possible? It was unbelievable. They saw that the ground under LV Liang's feet had completely collapsed, but her body was still standing straight. Her tall figure made the two sisters fall into a state of stupor. Who didn't like a hero who saved them? Originally, she thought that she was doomed this time and would become Lucifer's slave in the future. She didn't expect a hero to appear. Shouldn't a beauty be matched with such a hero? LV Liang sneaked a peek at the two siblings and thought to herself, "Oh no. They must be attracted by my figure." Taylor and Julia were surprised. This mysterious Easterner could actually catch their attacks with his bare hands. How was that possible? Although it was said that the Easterners were mysterious, it was impossible for them to be this mysterious. Moreover, he had been ignoring her from the beginning to the end, flirting with the two bloodlings. LV Liang wanted to explain that she wasn't talking about love, okay? Can you guys have some brains? Retreat. Julia gave the clearest instruction. This man was no match for him at all. This mysterious Asian man was terrifying. Lulu snorted coldly. Want to leave? How can you birdmen come and go as you please in his honor's territory? Immediately, 5 strands of black mist shot out from her hands and bound the 5 birdmen in the air and forcefully dragged them back. LV Liang looked at these birdmen coldly. Since they can kidnap us today, perhaps they can kidnap little Ali tomorrow as well. I definitely can't let them live. After the bloodbath in the Imperial City, Big Brother Green was no longer the Big Brother Green from before. When he gets serious, he is more cold-blooded than anyone else. What are you trying to do? Julia had a panicked look on her face as she struggled with all her might. LV Liang walked over slowly and asked, I wonder what would happen if I were to pluck out your wings? I will experiment on your underlings first. After finished speaking, Lulu walked to the back of one of the underlings, grabbed onto the wing on his back, and pulled out fiercely. Looking at the wing in his hand, LV Liang said slowly, if only it was a chicken wing. Speaking of chicken wings, I kind of want to eat KFC. The underling who lost his wings immediately let out a miserable shriek, then turned into black particles that floated into the air. However, what LV Liang didn't know was that to angels, plucking out their wings was the most severe punishment. Very quickly, 3 underlings were freed. Lord Lucifer won't let you off. Julia didn't beg for mercy and stared coldly at LV Liang. Oh, I got it. Yihua pulled out his hands. Ah. A pair of black wings were forcefully pulled out by LV Liang, causing Julia to let out a terrifying shriek. Soon after, Yihua pulled out his hands again and completely freed Julia. Taylor said gravely, the gods won't let you off. You will pay a painful price for today's actions. Oh, Taylor, after plucking out all of the birdmen, the world became quiet again. Walking to the 2 sisters' side, Yihua loosened the Asian bindings. All right, the 2 of you are safe now, quickly go home. LV Liang threw away the rope in his hand. The 2 sisters took a look at each other, then lightly kneeled down in front of LV Liang. This gave LV Liang a fright, and he hurriedly helped the 2 sisters up. I can't accept this. LV Liang, thank you for being able to accept me and big sister. Selena slightly lowered her head and said in a low voice. Nanny. When did I accept you? You guys can't scam me like this, don't bully me for being honest and insensible. LV Liang said with a smile, misunderstanding, but you helped us up just now. Selena said with grievance. Ah. LV Liang cried out in surprise. Big sister Selena said gravely, just now, little sister and I used the greatest etiquette of vampires. If you accept us, you can help us up. But the 2 of you didn't say that. You didn't ask. Little sister Selena said pitifully. LV Liang was really going to be speechless. I give full marks to you 2 for scamming me. It's true, you 2 really misunderstood, we are not suitable for each other. LV Liang hurriedly explained. It wasn't that he was acting cool, it was just that he really didn't like vampires. If the other party was 2 ordinary girls, he would definitely accept them. After hearing that, the 2 sisters silently lowered their heads. Do it then. Selena said faintly. LV Liang was confused, do what? This place isn't suitable, right? The etiquette is already done, if you don't want to accept us sisters, then please execute us. You can be at ease, us sisters won't have any complaints towards you. You are a powerful king, it is us who aren't worthy of you, bringing you inconveniences. Little sister and I are sorry. When the hard method doesn't work, the soft method comes, the hard method really doesn't work. Chapter 435. Hearing that, the sisters did not have any complaints and slowly closed their beautiful eyes. At least, this is better than being a slave by Lucifer's side. However, after waiting for a long time and seeing that there was no movement, they opened their beautiful eyes and took a look. There is no one in front of me. Big sister, did we become ugly? No one actually wants us anymore? Celine was very disappointed. It wasn't easy for me to meet someone that I like, but in the end, that person doesn't like me. As the big sister, Celine was much calmer. Little sister, such a strong man would naturally understand humility. Is that so? I feel that he cares about our status. Hearing what the little sister said, the big sister was already disappointed. LV Shu, who returned to the bar, let out a sigh of relief. You guys want to suck me, how can that be? Big brother, where did you go? Yi Hong was currently packing up the chairs and preparing to get off work. LV Shu smiled, I went to save a single girl. Tang Wei teased, then why didn't you bring her back? It's a long story, a long story. Zi Shan wiped the table and said, LV Shu, you are Yi Hong's big brother, it is time to look for you. That's right, big brother, without sister-in-law to take care of you, I am also deeply worried. Scram. The big brother raised his hand and slapped. You are actually teasing your big brother now. Wei Cheng smiled, let me tell you guys something, little His Honor's birthday is going to be celebrated soon, prepare a present. Everyone nodded their heads and began planning what to give His Honor. His Honor is so rich, he definitely won't like these vulgar things. We just have to prepare some exquisite small gifts, for example, dolls, toys, don't all children like those? Do we even need to use money? Give treasures? Is His Honor such a vulgar person? Giving these things is completely looking down on His Honor. After cleaning up the bar, the few walked out and coincidentally bumped into Celine and Celine, who were standing at the entrance. Looking at their posture, it seems like they have been waiting for a long time. LV Shu's expression collapsed. What are you guys doing? Could it be that I am the only man in the world? Women are very peculiar creatures. When they entrust their feelings to you, they will not look back. Who are you guys looking for? Tang Wei asked curiously. The two sisters pointed at LV Shu at the same time, causing everyone to be startled. Yi Hong patted on her big brother's shoulder. Big brother, they are pretty good, let's take a look around first. After he finished speaking, he left with his wife Zi Shan. Don't be a third wheel. Tang Wei also held on to Wei Chang's arm and sat on the Kian to return home. LV Liang looked at the two vampires in front of her and said in a deep voice, what exactly do you see in me? I should know, okay? Serene pursed her lips, lowered her head, and said, you're so flirtatious. Puff. This was really hard to change, revealing the truth with a single sentence. To be honest, if you were humans, I would definitely be friends with you. But you are blood breeds. I feel really uncomfortable. LV Liang told the truth. Serena said softly, LV Liang, actually, our bodies are the same as human girls' bodies. We can also give birth. As long as human girls can do it, we can do it too. Really? Don't lie to me. I'm a man who has been lied to before. I'm always vigilant. I don't believe it. Serene walked over and said in a sweet voice, then touch it and you'll know. Not only did they throw money at him, but they also seduced him. They definitely wanted to suck him in. How could he make the same mistake twice? I'm a good person. LV Liang said in a deep voice. The two sisters nodded their heads, expressing that they understood. Why can't you guys tell that I'm rejecting you guys? I'm just being a bit more amiable, I don't want to hurt you guys. LV Liang, are you hungry? We have delicious supper and a lot of wine over there. You can eat whatever you want. Serene went up and held onto LV Liang's arm. Right now, LV Liang was feeling the majestic and grand feeling. His arm actually sunk in, it could be seen how deep the feeling was. I'll get someone to arrange it. The big sister, Serena, was a bit more reserved. These two women failed to seduce me, and they actually used delicacies to tempt me. Even if my big brother Green starves to death, I still won't go to that kind of place to eat. Do you have crayfish? Serena was delighted. We have a lot. Let's eat some then. LV Liang said reluctantly. Inside the 7 bar, there was a bedroom, and the 2 sisters usually stayed here. LV Liang, you are the first man to enter our room. Serene said bashfully. Compared to her big sister, she was a lot more straightforward. Looking at the pink world in front of him, it really doesn't match with him being green at all. Actually, we can just go outside to eat, we are afraid of dirtying your room. LV Liang said embarrassedly. How good would it be if these 2 were ordinary girls? Serena said tenderly, we are afraid of disturbing you if we go outside. Not only is she using delicacies to tempt me, she is also using sweetness to attack me. If it was an underling, he would definitely fall for her. But, I am Big Brother Green. A man who was cuckolded before. I am the man that you guys will never be able to get. Open your mouth. Serena could be seen peeling a crayfish and placing it beside LV Liang's mouth. LV Liang opened his mouth and ate the crayfish. It feels so fragrant. LV Liang, stay behind tonight, big sister, and I will serve you well. Serena said coquettishly, and she even intentionally blew towards LV Liang's neck. However, this action made LV Liang feel that they want to suck me tonight. And even looking at the artery on my neck, they definitely want to bite me in that moment of excitement. And then fiercely suck me. Until I die. Dong dong dong, come in, Serena said faintly. When the foreigner saw that the princess was actually intimately leaning onto a man's body, he was a bit surprised. However, he still said, Your Highness, a person who calls himself Jiu Yi wants to meet you, not meeting. Serena said coldly. Can't you see that I am accompanying my sweetheart? Yes. Wait, see. Why is he not meeting? LV Liang heard Uncle Wei talk about this Jiu Yi before, and he really wanted to know what Jiu Yi was doing here. The foreigner was puzzled for a moment, not knowing who he should listen to. Serena said faintly, Didn't you hear? See. Yes. Your Highness. LV Liang stood up and said, You 2 meet, I will eavesdrop. The 2 sisters knew what Yi Liang meant and nodded their heads. LV Liang didn't hide and directly jumped onto the big bed of the 2 sisters, covered himself with the blanket and pretended to sleep. It's been a long time since I've smelled a woman's fragrance like this in my life. Jiu Yi walked in with a smile on his face. Just like before, he was cunning. Your Highness. Jiu Yi said respectfully with Western etiquette. The 2 sisters were a bit shocked. This Jiu Yi actually knew of their identity. Jiu Yi secretly took a glance at the pink big bed, and there was actually a man on the pink big bed. Chapter 436. Your Lord Jiu? Serena asked. Lord Jiu said respectfully, Your Highness, just call me Little Jiu. Serene remained silent at the side. She thought to herself, so this is how it feels to be conquered by a powerful man. I can't wait to offer my most precious and pure blood. Serena maintained the demeanor of a princess and said calmly, What's the matter? My master knows that Her Royal Highness has been a little troubled recently, so he specially sent me over to deliver a small gift. Lord Jiu said with a smile. He didn't have many other things, but he had many masters. Now that he had lost contact with one, there was still one left. Lord Jiu took out an exquisite little box. When he opened it, the whole room was immersed in a blue ocean. Serena looked at the piece in the box and exclaimed, This is Neptune's spear. When Lord Jiu saw it for the first time, he was also shocked. According to his master, this was an ancient godly item. Even though it was only a part of it, if he could find the rest, he would be able to obtain a true ancient godly item. It was said that this great desolate era godly equipment had the power to split the heavens and split the earth. Master actually gave it to someone else, and it was only because he wanted to flirt with them. Your Highness, this is indeed the Neptune spear. If we can find the other 3 pieces, then we won't have to fear anyone. Jiu Yi explained. Do you have any requests? Serena asked in a deep voice. Actually, my master doesn't have any requests. He just wants to have a meal with your highness. He hopes that your highness will do him the honor. The two sisters sneered inwardly. Wanting to use a quarter of the sea god's spear to exchange for their purest blood, truly delusional. Lord Jiao, please go back. This Neptune's spear is very precious. You must take good care of it. Just as his master had guessed, things wouldn't go so smoothly. After putting away the items, Lord Jiao smiled and said, "This is my name card. If your highnesses change your mind, you can call this number at any time. My 8848 titanium phone is on 24/7, so don't worry." Serena waved her hand. Lord Jiao bowed and retreated. He sighed in his heart. Why bother? If you push my master too far, I won't give you any face then. When Lord Jiao walked out, the two sisters jumped up. LV Liang, who was deep in thought, was startled. She immediately smelled a delicate fragrance beside her. What are you doing? Don't mess around, I'm an upright and plain-spoken man. LV Liang hugged the quilt and looked at the two sisters vigilantly. Big sister Serena said faintly, LV Liang, you also heard it just now, a lot of people have their eyes on us. Sooner or later, we will be. If that's the case, I might as well give that purest blood to you. LV Shu, I'm begging you. Please accept my and my sister's purest blood. At the side, Celine begged bitterly. Rather than being snatched away by someone else, she might as well give it to the person she liked. At least she wouldn't regret it. F*CK, who begs people like you guys? I'm really drunk. Putting away her frivolous expression, LV Liang said seriously, it's your own blood, keep it safe. But don't worry, I will protect you. The two sisters were stunned. Protection? Ever since the blood tribe was hunted down, only the two of them were left, and they had no protection at all. They lived in fear every day, but today, they were actually saved by a man who wanted to offer the purest blood to him. Not only did he not want it, he even said that he wanted to protect himself. God, there is actually such a good man in this world. Fortunately, I met him. I am so lucky. The two sisters lightly leaned on LV Liang's side. Serena said tenderly, LV Liang, if you want it, we can give it to you anytime. My God, as long as you two don't suck my blood, I can do anything. Why are you two grabbing onto my hands? I am not such a shallow man. Wow, my skin is so smooth. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, I'll be leaving first, see you tomorrow. After finished speaking, LV Liang disappeared from the bed. The two sisters laughed, because LV Liang said that he would see you tomorrow. This is a man with a sense of justice, and for him to still be able to hold on even when we are tempting him like this, it can be seen that he is not a fickle man. Meanwhile, at the bedroom on the second floor of Leisure Bar, the battlefield that was filled with smoke had just calmed down. Yihua lightly caressed his wife's body. He was very engrossed in the feeling. It was as if he was poisoned. However, this caused Dong Huang Baiji to feel extremely bitter. Ali's birthday is coming up. Yihua said lightly. Dong Huang Baiji let out a heavy nasal sound. I should be able to receive a large amount of money as a gift. Yihua smiled. Those subordinates of mine will definitely give me something of great value. Dong Huang Baiji once again let out a nasal sound. It wasn't that she didn't want to speak, it was just that she truly didn't have any strength left, it was as if her soul had already floated away. Yihua said faintly, Your Majesty, looking at your expression, it seems like you are not satisfied with me. If that's the case, I will let you be satisfied again. No. Before Empress Baiji could stop him, this shameless guy had already started another round of conquest. Qin Yutong and Yizizi who were at the side had already gone to the office to sleep. The morning sunlight shone through the window, and Yihua opened his eyes. Lowering his head, he looked at the beautiful woman who was in his embrace with a pitiful look on her face. If he had used this method earlier, such a mess wouldn't have happened. Don't, the sleeping empress shouted out sweetly, almost causing Yihua to become impulsive again. However, the sleeping Dong Huang Baiji is so alluring. Just by looking at her, I can't help but want to make a move on her. I'll let her off today. It's been hard on her these past 2 days. After covering himself with the blanket, Yihua got up and took a bath, then went out of the house to buy breakfast for his wife. As long as you follow this sovereign's will, this sovereign will pamper you to the heavens. Just when Yihua stepped out of leisure bar, he received Wei Chang's contact. Your Honor, subordinate has something to report to you. Speak. Last night, LV Liang received 2 pieces of valuable information. The first piece of information is that the self-proclaimed demon king in Europe, Lucifer, wants to capture the Sisters of Seven Bar for their purest blood. The second piece of information is that Lord Jiao has a master behind him, and he wants to have a meal with the sisters by exchanging a part of a primeval godly item. Oh. Yihua responded. These are all small matters, buying breakfast for Baiji is a big matter. Am I being too biased recently? I should go and comfort Qinya properly in a few days' time to prevent her from complaining. After all, I have to share the reign and do equally. Your Honor. What do you think we should do about this matter? Wei Chang asked. There is no need to ask me about this kind of small matter. After finished speaking, Wei Chang cut off the contact. Meanwhile, Wei Chang passed on his Honor's latest command to LV Liang. His Honor said, do as you see fit. After LV Liang received his Honor's command, LV Liang immediately felt pressured. This time, I have to perform well and hope to receive his Honor's praise. Chapter 437. Yihua arrived at the entrance of the alley and saw that the auntie was currently making Chinese jianbing. Should I go and show off in front of the auntie? These few days, when I came over to buy Chinese crepes, I was ridiculed by this auntie to the point that I couldn't take it anymore. In the entire world, I, the supreme overlord, admire this auntie. 4 pancakes with eggs and ham sausages. The middle-aged woman looked back and smiled. Handsome, you look good today. Is your wife back? Humph, how would they dare to disobey me? I'll teach them a lesson any time. As a supreme overlord, he is actually showing off in front of an auntie. Sigh. The aunt smiled but did not say anything. This caused Yihua to feel very unhappy. Aren't you very talkative? Don't look down on women. They spoil you because they love you. Spoil me? He chuckled. You are wrong, I am the one who is spoiling them. Yihua said in disdain. The auntie smiled once again and did not say anything. This caused Yihua to be very speechless. This auntie is truly awesome, to actually be acting so mysterious in front of me. A moment later, the middle-aged woman handed over 4 pancakes. Are you still going to owe me for today? Yihua, this sentence almost caused Yihua to bleed. A formidable enemy isn't those people who possess absolute strength, but this aunt who is selling Chinese jianbing fruit pancakes in front of me. Do you think that I won't return what I owe you? Yihua said gravely, then turned around and walked towards leisure bar. But, listening to this auntie's nagging feels pretty good. Are they spoiling me? He took out a jianbing and took a bite. It was especially fragrant today. In actuality, what the auntie said was very reasonable. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were indeed spoiling Yihua. Take Donghuang Baiji for example. For the past 2 days, Donghuang Baiji had not even gotten out of the bed and was doing her best to satisfy Yihua's needs. He took 2 pancakes and gave them to his sister-in-law and Yizizi. Today was the weekend, so Yizizi was off. Walking into the bedroom, and looking at the Empress's spotlessly white shoulders that were exposed to the air, Yihua's lower abdomen once again emitted a ball of raging fire. Why is this Donghuang Baiji so captivated by me? Holding on to the crepe, Yihua brought it to Donghuang Baiji's mouth. Right now, the cold and arrogant Empress was extremely adorable. If not for Donghuang Baiji's tired state, Yihua would have definitely pounced onto the Empress and enjoyed her body. The Empress opened her beautiful eyes slightly, and looked at her husband, who was very close to her. A gentle smile appeared on her face, and she said, "Is it the fruit jianbing from the alley?" "Yes." Hey, when the Empress started acting coquettishly, even Yihua was a bit unable to endure it. Sitting on the side of the bed, Yihua said faintly, "Do you know how enchanting you look like right now?" After the father and daughter pair cuddled together for a while, Yihua said with a smile, "Ollie, quickly go and take a look at mommy and accompany mommy to sleep. And then Ollie won't disturb daddy and mommy Qing anymore." The little fellow was rather sensible and immediately ran out of the office. Only Yihua and Qingya were left in the office. Looking at Qingya's bulging stomach, Yihua stretched out his hand and lightly caressed onto Qingya's stomach, then said in a low voice, "Qingya, thank you." Hearing her husband's heartfelt words, Qingya's beautiful eyes immediately turned red as she said with a smile, "We are already husband and wife, there is no need to thank me. Do you still hate me?" Lightly hugging onto Qingya, Yihua asked faintly. Qingya hugged onto her husband's strong body and said tenderly, "Yihua, I want to apologize to you. This foolish woman, is she trying to move me to death? Seems like I have no choice but to properly dote on you tonight. Forget it, it is all in the past." Yihua said lightly. Qingya muttered, "Yihua, you have your own standpoint, I have my own way of thinking. However, I have forgotten that you are my husband, should support you unconditionally, and not help others to criticize you." Qingya's eyes lit up. Yihua was a bit surprised. "I didn't expect that Qingya would have such a realization. This is a good thing, a happy thing. Since you have given me a way out of this embarrassing situation, I have to coax you and not let you suffer any grievances. I am also at fault, I shouldn't have shouted at you like that, especially when you are pregnant." Hearing what her husband said, Qingya was moved, and tears immediately flowed out of her eyes. When she was pregnant, her husband wasn't by her side, and Qingya could be said to have experienced it. I really don't know how Donghuang Baiji managed to endure it back then. Chapter 438. Yihua carried Qingya up. "Such an enchanting wife, how can I leave her alone?" "Ah, Yihua, what are you doing?" Qingya cried out in surprise, and her face immediately turned red. Yihua said indifferently, "Tonight, you don't have any more excuses, right?" Qingya knew that this would happen. "I can still find an excuse for my early pregnancy, but now that it is over, this fellow will definitely not be able to hold himself back anymore. Wait a minute, I want to ask you a question, answer me honestly, if not." Yihua carefully pressed his wife down onto his body and lightly moved aside her hair. These two women's beauty is completely different. Qingya belongs to the delicate type, while Donghuang Baiji's expression carries a faint sense of arrogance. This is a kind of visual enjoyment. "If not, what will you do?" Yihua asked indifferently. If not, I will ignore you," Qingya said with a red face. Just that, this kind of threat had a more coquettish feel to it. "Go ahead and ask. Is Zhu Tian one of your people? This question is very thorny, should I admit it or not?" However, looking at Qingya's appearance, she should have guessed it, just that she didn't have any evidence. "However, now that we have reconciled, it doesn't matter if I say it out, we are all family." Yihua nodded his head. "You to actually." Before Qingya could finish speaking, Yihua already kissed her. The latter struggled for a bit, then became obedient. "Little fellow, I can't deal with you, just immerse yourself in my kiss." Looking at his wife's beautiful face, Yihua said indifferently, "There are a lot of ugly things in the world. In actuality, I don't want you two to see them, just like Dongfang Yue whom Zhu Tian met. Her family was framed and destroyed, and I only asked my subordinates to help the weak and let the wronged souls rest in peace. There is really nothing wrong with what he said. Right now, he doesn't even blink when speaking lies. However, what he said seems to be the truth. I only hope that you two can enjoy the happiness in this world, and leave the dirty work to me." Qingya didn't expect that Yihua would think like this, and she was very touched. She felt ashamed for her actions. "Yihua, so it was my ignorance, okay?" Qingya felt that if Yihua didn't forgive her, she wouldn't be able to feel at ease for the rest of her life. The husband only wanted to give me a good environment, and yet, I didn't understand what he meant. As a wife, this was a very foolish behavior. Alright, I forgive you. Thank you, Yi Hua. A trace of an evil smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. I prefer that you use your body to thank me. Then, can you be gentler, don't be like last time. Upon thinking about that night, Qingya's face became scarlet red. That night was truly an unforgettable night. Of course, Yi Hua wouldn't act recklessly. However, there was no need for Yi Hua to worry about the child. My bloodline is very tough, and no matter what I do to the child, nothing bad will happen to the child. However, he also had to take care of his wife's feelings. Alright, I promise you. Hearing what her husband said, Qingya's face became red, and she slowly closed her beautiful eyes. Looking at Qingya's appearance, Yi Hua couldn't help but want to take back the words that he had said just now. This is simply waiting for me to pamper her. He gently took off his wife's clothes and gently caressed her. A beautiful melody came out from Qingya's vocal cords. This was simply the most beautiful sound in the world. After one round, Qingya's face was completely red as she laid on her husband's chest. It feels so comfortable. I will let you off today, after you give birth to the child. Qingya sweetly rolled her eyes at her husband, however, she still said, got it. As expected of my woman, she is becoming more and more sensible. Where are we going to celebrate Ali's birthday? Qingya asked curiously. Yi Hua thought for a while, then said faintly, to be honest, our family of 4 has never seriously gone out to play before. How about we use Ali's birthday this time to go out and relax ourselves? Qingya felt that her husband's suggestion was pretty good and said tenderly, then, where are we going to relax ourselves? I haven't thought about it yet, but it is definitely going to be a place that is different from the masses. We will listen to your arrangements then. Qingya said tenderly. That's right, the aunt at the alley entrance owes you 200 plus RMB, you can go and pay her back tomorrow morning. After hearing what Yi Hua said, Qingya was speechless. Without me by your side, your life sure is poor and dejected. If you don't have money, tell me. Yi Hua said in disdain, do I look like the kind of man who asks for money from a woman? Alright, you are the most formidable. In actuality, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji were the women who doted on their husband the most. Yi Hua felt that after this time, the two of them wouldn't dare to mess around anymore. Because, no matter how bad the things that I, the Supreme Overlord, did, it was all because of you two. You two are the real culprits, and I, the Supreme Overlord, at most, can only be considered as an accomplice. Qingya. Let's do it one more time. Don't be obedient, nothing will happen. You go and look for Baiji. She is already at her limit. Then, this will be the last time. Alright, this will be the last time tonight. Qin Yutong and Yizizi felt that it is about time for us to move out of the house, or to make a layer of super soundproofing. October 16th was little Ali's birthday. Today, the little fellow was dressed up like a little princess, and she was very happy. On this night, Leisure Bar was closed. It seems like there weren't any customers that came. Yi Hua's subordinates were all present to celebrate the little overlord's birthday. Just how big of a scene was this? Dong Huangli was about to be praised to the heavens by everyone, and the smile on her face had never stopped. Right now, Yi Hua came to the office and opened the gifts that his subordinates gave him. However, when he looked at the gifts that his subordinates gave him, he was simply too stingy. Wei Cheng sent over a giant panda. If it was a real giant panda, then it would be fine, but this was a furry toy. Lai Gu sent over a set of dolls, the kind that can wear clothes. Does my child still want to play with such childish things? Absolute Heaven received quite a lot of benefits this time, and he actually sent over a learning machine. Yizizi's gift was even simpler, the princess dress that Ali was currently wearing was bought by her. However, when Yi Hua heard that the princess dress was bought by Yizizi through scrimping, Yi Hua felt rather gratified. There are even toy guns and remote-controlled cars. How can a girl play with such things? To think that you all can even think of such things. Not a single one of them gave me money. If I were to go and host a banquet, I would definitely make a huge loss. What happened to the treasures that you all agreed on? Do you all really need me to speak for you all to understand? In the future, if you all were to give birth to a child and celebrate your birthday, I would immediately come over and not give you anything. You all are too stingy. Downstairs. Lai Gu said with a smile, His Honor will definitely like this time. In the past, I always gave you some treasures, and I reckon that His Honor is already annoyed by it. That's right, the gifts that I gave you this time are my sincerity. His Honor should definitely be very happy. Wei Chang said with a smile. Meanwhile, Absolute Heaven walked to the front of the two madams and said respectfully, Lady Boss, please forgive me for what happened that day. Chapter 439. Dong Wang Baiji had also thought about it. If it was really her father who judged the case wrongly, as his daughter, she would definitely wash away the injustice done to the Dongfang family. Those who were involved in the case would definitely not be let off easily. Zhu Tian, is also my junior sister. Treat her well, Qinya said with a slight smile as she looked at Dongfang Yu, who was bashful after hearing Zhu Tian's words. Zhu Tian replied respectfully, Lady Boss, rest assured. This subordinate will definitely take good care of you, and Yan Xian. On the other hand, Dongfang Yuan, and Guan Yanxin who were standing behind Zhu Tian had their heads lowered. The so-called care that Professor Zhu Tian gave them was simply unimaginable. That's good then. Qinya said with a gentle smile. Qinya had the aura of a respected madam. Dong Wang Baiji who was at the side was the same as well. All of the subordinates felt that this was the attitude that His Honor's wife should have, and this was the attitude that His Honor's wife should have. Wei Chang, look at that Dongfang Yu, Lai Gu walked to Wei Chang's side and said in a low voice. Wei Chang said, Zhu Tian's luck with women isn't bad. In the past, he said that he wasn't interested in women, but now, he brought two. There is no such thing as a cat that steals fish in this world. As long as you experience the beauty of a woman, you will be unable to extricate yourself. Wei Chang fell into deep thought after hearing this. He looked at the alluring Tang Bingyao at the side. When would he be able to push her down? It felt like it would take forever. As a single dog, Lv Shu stood at the side with a glass of wine in her hand and sighed. Everyone has a wife, either one or two, and the one who has the most is Lai Gu. He has 3 superstar wives, I am so envious of them. Furthermore, that Dongfang Yu, is really good. I don't even know what to say about this kind of feeling. Big Boss Absolute Heaven is really lucky. He was extremely unlucky to be targeted by 2 vampires who wanted to suck his blood all the time. It was really annoying. Yi Hua who was upstairs lit up a stick of cigarette, then lightly flicked it. A 3-dimensional version of the galaxy appeared in front of Yi Hua. Following the movements of Yi Hua's hands, the galaxy rotated, enlarged, or shrunk. The entire Milky Way galaxy had about 150 to 400 billion stars, and the solar system was just one of the insignificant galaxies. There were more developed galaxies, like the planet that he used to be on. That was the strongest overall and had a very strong fantasy color. But this time, he was accompanying his wife and daughter on a trip. Of course, he wouldn't choose to stay there. In any case, he would go back to take revenge sooner or later. After all, there were only 100 Supremes in the entire galaxy. They would all be wiped out sooner or later. Yi Hua opened up one galaxy after another and searched for his target. Retro Wuxia. Although the environment in Voidless Realm was pretty good, Voidless Realm's environment was more or less the same. Baiji and Li were already familiar with each other. Xianxia World? It seems to be about the same as Voidless Realm. Apocalypse? There were disgusting monsters everywhere. How was this a vacation? It was more like looking for excitement. Yi Hua didn't know where the most technologically advanced planet in the Milky Way galaxy was located. Yi Hua directly searched for the planet, and it felt as if he was searching on Baidu. When a blue planet appeared in front of Yi Hua's eyes, Yi Hua felt that it was a bit interesting. Outside of the planet, there was a huge battleship, while inside the planet, there was a high-tech building that reached the sky, and all of the vehicles were floating in the air. Oh, as expected of the most advanced civilized world, combining technology and martial arts together. Interesting. Qinya and the others had definitely never seen such a world before, and it was also the first time that Yi Hua and the others had seen such a world before. Yi Hua and the others were curious, and thus, Yi Hua and the others decided to bring Qinya and the others to see the world. This is it. Blue blaze dong dong dong. Dong Huang Baiji could be seen leisurely walking into the room, then said lightly, Yi Hua, it's almost 12, quickly come down and celebrate your daughter's birthday. Yi Hua stood up, then hugged onto his wife and kissed her. Don't mess around, everyone is waiting downstairs. Dong Huang Baiji, who was mesmerized by her husband's kiss, hurriedly stopped him. While hugging onto that willowy waist that everyone was envious of, Yi Hua said faintly, tomorrow, our whole family will go out to play. Where to? It's a secret. Yi Hua smiled mysteriously. Dong Huang Baiji's curiosity was piqued. When he arrived downstairs, he saw a huge cake being pushed out from the side. There were 4 little people on it. It represents his honor's family. Very cute. However, when a group of death gods sang a happy birthday song, it was rather comical. The little princess, Dong Huangli, who was wearing a birthday hat, placed her hands together and made a wish, hoping that Daddy, Mommy, and Ali would be together forever. Who? He blew out the candle. Lai Gu and Zhu Tian both pulled the kaleidoscope, and the atmosphere was very joyous. Yi Hua felt very comfortable just by looking at this scene. Where are the other 3 fellows? Still not coming back to the team yet? Do you need me to go and look for them one by one? At this moment, Yi Hua called Wei Chang and Zhu Tian to the side. I, the Supreme Overlord, will be going out for a few days. The 2 of you will deal with the matters here. If it isn't a big matter, don't contact me. Zhu Tian nodded his head, then asked respectfully, how many days will your honor be going out for? If it's quick, 1 week. If it's slow, 1 month. Subordinate obeys. The 2 replied in unison. Everyone celebrated until 2 a.m., and only then did they return back to their own homes and look for their mothers. The birthday girl had long fallen asleep in her mother's embrace, and Dong Huang Baiji immediately brought her daughter to sleep, not giving Yi Hua any chance. Meanwhile, Yi Hua could only grab onto Qinya, and Qinya was also begging him in every possible way. For the past few days, Qinya had been pestering him every single night. Although Qinya was very happy that her husband was so infatuated with her, but Qinya really didn't know what to say. Qinya just wanted to say, back then, you said that you would only touch a woman once. Look at you, who knows how many times you have touched a woman these past few days. Yi Hua said, I take back my words back then. This caused Qinya to be greatly shocked, and she shouted out that Yi Hua was shameless. And every time when Yi Hua wanted to continue, Qinya would intentionally say that her stomach was not feeling well. Yi Hua knew that Qinya was pretending, and thus, he let her off. However, I still haven't had enough fun, I won't have enough fun for my entire life. The next morning, the family of 4 woke up very early. Dong Huangli was in all kinds of excitement. Daddy and Mommy brought me out to play, what a happy thing this is. Qin Yutong would rather stay at home than go out and take a walk. Of course, when her brother-in-law went to act cool, she would shout out from the side. What are you 2 doing? Yi Hua asked puzzledly. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji could be seen packing their clothes, and little Ali also made a small suitcase and stuffed the little doll into it. When we go out, we definitely have to bring clothes. Qinya said. Daddy, Ali will clean your clothes for you. Yi Hua said faintly, all right, don't clean your clothes, it is not that far away. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji went into a daze. Dong Huang Li's face immediately became bitter. What? Didn't we agree to go out to play? Why is it not that far away again? Daddy is a liar, Dong Huang Baiji carried on to her daughter and said coquettishly, Yi Hua, how can you lie to your daughter? I have such a bad impression of you. I haven't even finished speaking, and you two already gave me the title of a liar. Is this really good? Ollie, you have to listen to Daddy finish speaking, understand? Chapter 440. Because this time, the place that we are going to is a bit far away, and ordinary means of transportation will not be able to reach there. Yihua said. Hearing what her daddy said, Dong Huangli immediately became interested. You can't even go there by plane? Of course, it's at a very, very far place. While speaking, Yihua even gestured for a bit, causing his daughter to laugh. Not only was Dong Huangli curious, his two wives were also curious as well. Yihua, just what kind of place is this? Dong Huangbaiji couldn't help but roll her eyes at her husband. Her eyes caused Yihua to become a bit restless. He discovered that after being pampered by him, the two of them became even more charming, and every single one of their movements was emitting out a peculiar charm. If he were to bring such lovely wives out, he would definitely have a lot of face. Yihua smiled faintly. All of you, close your eyes. Papa, does Ollie also want it? Yes. All right then. Yihua slowly located the position of Blue Blaze planet. Because the distance was a bit far, he wasn't able to pinpoint the position of Blue Blaze planet very accurately. Bye. The four of them disappeared from the bedroom. There were still unpacked clothes on the floor, giving people the feeling that they had been kidnapped. The ashen star was huge. It was extremely huge. How big could it be? It was as big as 10,000 Earths. As the saying goes, where there are people, there will be conflicts. Moreover, this was the most developed civilization in the Milky Way galaxy. Although the entire planet was controlled by the Federation, there were many factions under the Federation, fighting openly and secretly. This was a power struggle, it was unavoidable. Papa, are you done? Ollie, why do I smell a strange smell? Dong Huangli asked with her big eyes closed. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji slightly frowned. Why is there a bloody smell? Meanwhile, the corner of Yihua's mouth twitched slightly. This scenery is too beautiful, isn't it? The surroundings were filled with corpses, and the smell of blood permeated the air. The two wives immediately opened their eyes, and they were shocked by the scene in front of them. Dong Huangli also opened her eyes, but she didn't say anything, and there wasn't a trace of discomfort on her face. No matter what, she is still a child who had followed her daddy to see big scenes before, and she was completely able to adapt to this kind of scene. Yehua! Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji shouted at their husband. Our daughter is only 3 years old, and you are already bringing her to see this kind of thing. This was indeed a pleasant surprise. Yihua also didn't expect that he would be teleported to such a place. Wow, what a big star! Dong Huangli raised her head and shouted out. Outside the blue sky, there were 3 huge planets that looked like they could fall at any time. If one ignored the corpses on the ground, the scenery was indeed charming. This is all a misunderstanding. If you were to get rid of them, we would become wanted criminals. At that time, what would be the point of playing? Qingye lightly held onto her husband's arm and said. Hearing his wife's soft voice, Yihua couldn't help but nod his head. Soon after, he came back to his senses. Qingye is actually able to bewitch me, formidable. You have misunderstood, we are. Before Qingye could finish her words, 6 guided missiles came whistling towards Yihua from afar. Yihua felt that these were not ordinary guided missiles, spiritual energy was contained within the guided missiles. As expected of a planet where technology and martial arts are fused together, this is a bit interesting. Boom boom boom. 6 loud explosions rang out in the sky, and the missiles turned into 6 huge fireballs that smashed onto the ground. Dong Huangli's big eyes were filled with excitement. This is what a vacation is like. Those 4 aircrafts could be seen immediately turning around and returning. Seems like we have met with people that we can't afford to offend. 2 black dots gradually appeared in the sky. Those were 2 small-sized warships. Even if they were small-sized warships, they were still as big as an aircraft carrier. The warships slowly stopped not far away from the warships, and a large amount of dust was raised. There were quite a few people that came down from the warships, and all of them were wearing the same uniform. The last one that came down from the warship was a rather handsome female military officer. Yihua took a glance at the female military officer. "What are you looking at? What is there to look at?" Dong Wang Baiji reminded her husband in a low voice, to not peek at other women. Yihua felt helpless. "Everything about the two of us is good, but when I look at other women, I feel as if I have already used my gaze to disrespect other women." The female military officer could be seen walking towards Yihua along with several hundred fully armed soldiers. Soon after, the warship stopped not far away from the warships. Yihua was very curious. "Just what are you all trying to do? Don't have any bad thoughts, if not, you all will die." Swoosh. Chapter 441. The female officer shouted, "Thank you, sir, for protecting the bodies of our soldiers." "Get up, there's no need to thank me," Yihua said indifferently, and he had an unfathomable look on his face. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji blushed with shame. "It's starting again. I have clearly just arrived here. Wow, Papa is showing off again. He's so powerful. Ali should learn more from him." The female military officer looked at Yihua's face, and her face slightly reddened. What a handsome man. When he looked at the women on both sides, he thought, what beautiful women. Their looks and temperament are really incomparable. Seeing the female military officer's gaze, Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji immediately became vigilant. "If you are here to snatch our man, then don't blame us for being ruthless." "Hello, sir. I am Shitingting, a member of the aristocratic party. This place is still very dangerous. Please follow me, sir." Dong Wangli said with a smile on her face, "Big sister, you are a good person." Looking at Dong Wangli's adorable smile, Shidingding revealed a trace of a smile on her face. When the soldiers behind Dong Wangli saw that their chief officer actually smiled, all of them were very surprised. Yihua said faintly, "All right then." Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji immediately held onto Yihua's arm and declared their ownership to everyone. "Thank you for your understanding, sir." After saying that, Shidingting raised her hand, and the soldiers collected all the corpses on the ground. The two battleships immediately retreated. Not long after they left, an even larger battleship appeared. Looking at the person who had already disappeared, a man shouted angrily, "Damn it, he actually ran away. A bunch of trash." This was a trap. Originally, 10 armed spaceships would have been able to take care of it. However, 4 people had suddenly appeared. That was why 6 of the spaceships had been killed. After boarding the warship, Shidingting arranged a first-class cabin for Yihua's family of 4. Every part of the cabin was filled with the feeling of technology. Qingye muttered, "With this kind of technology, who knows how many years it would take for us to be able to develop it? It should be from several hundred to over 1,000 years ago." Dong Huang Baiji said gravely, "I have only seen these things in movies before, this is too mystical." With a swoosh, the door immediately opened, and Shidingting, who had changed into a dress, could be seen appearing at the door. Don't say, her figure was quite hot. Such an action was undoubtedly provoking Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji. "Sir, madam, sorry to disturb you." Shidingting appeared to be very polite. Towards polite people, Yihua wouldn't make things too difficult for him. Sitting at the bedside, Yihua said faintly, "Pardon me for asking, but do you practice martial arts?" However, in the eyes of Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji, Shidingting was trying to seduce their husband. In any case, other than themselves, all the other girls who were talking to their husband were all harboring evil intentions. "I guess so. Li also cultivates martial arts." Dong Huang Baiji carried her daughter into her embrace and said lightly, "All right, Ali, don't disturb Daddy and Big Sister's conversation." A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. "I often say that I'm the king of vinegar, but your empress's vinegar is also very sour. Shi Tingting was a little embarrassed. Sir, I'm being rude. May I ask what your level is? Level? Yes, sir, you must be a traveler. Here, the levels are divided into martial disciple, martial artist, martial knight, martial master, martial king, martial emperor, martial spirit, and martial venerable. Each level has 10 grades. Shi Tingting explained. Yihua paused for a moment, then, I shouldn't be among them. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were speechless. You actually dare to act cool in front of big sister, are you thinking that we are old? Qingye said with a slight smile, I'm really sorry, my husband likes to joke around a bit. In actuality, he is a martial artist. Her meaning was very clear. My husband is too trash, so don't have any ideas about him. However, the truth wasn't like that. Ah. Sir, are you really a martial artist? Can you do me a favor? Shi Tingting, who was excited, immediately went forward and held on to Yihua's hand. The corners of Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's mouth twitched. Donghuang Li turned around and covered her face. Mommy's expression is so scary. Creak, creak. The titanium alloy armrest on the side of the bed was deformed by the two women's hands, and it was about to go berserk. Shi Tingting immediately reacted and retreated a few steps back. Madam, I'm sorry, I was too excited just now. Looking at the titanium alloy armrest that was deformed into a fried dough twist, Shi Tingting was incomparably shocked. Madam, may I ask what your level is? Martial artist. That's great. Shi Tingting seemed very excited, as if she was saved. In actuality, the three of them had long broken away from the division of levels. Even if a martial venerable came, they would be able to kill that martial venerable with a single finger. But it seems like, even a martial artist can be very popular in this place. Are there very few martial artists here? Donghuang Baiji asked curiously. Shi Tingting let out a breath. Madam, practicing martial arts is very hard, it also requires talent, and also a lot of resources. Our Blue Blaze planet is a planet that mainly focuses on technology. With a set of top-notch armor, one would be able to defeat a martial disciple. However, if one were to become a martial artist, even in the main city, one would still have a place to stand. Martial disciple? Martial artist? Your planet is so weak, is this really good? Then, are there martial kings? Yihua asked curiously. Hearing Yihua mentioning about martial kings, Shi Tingting immediately panicked. Sir, martial kings are godlike existences. In the entire Blue Blaze planet, there are only 3 martial kings, and they live in the imperial city and are revered by tens of thousands of people. In actuality, every world had its own division of strength, and Blue Blaze planet was divided according to an average. If one had to compare, then the 10th rank martial artist here would probably be as strong as Xiao Yi. If not, how could martial kings be revered by tens of thousands of people? From this, it could be seen just how big the gap between the two of them was. However, the number of people who practiced martial arts in Blue Blaze planet was still very little, and this made the planet even more of a product of power struggle. However, even if this was the case, there was nothing to be afraid of, because Yihua knew that this planet was also controlled by a god. Even an overlord would be killed like a chicken, let alone a martial king. Just a clown, the supreme overlord would be able to take his head from 1,000 miles away. Alright, tell me what you want. Yihua said. Shi Tingting slightly leaned her body, and immediately, her white skin was revealed. Creak, creak. This is the sound of a titanium alloy being twisted into a super fried dough twist. After bowing deeply, Shi Tingting said gravely, although I am from the aristocratic faction, my strength is too weak, and these 2 spaceships are the only weapons that my family has. Therefore, the aristocratic faction wanted to remove my title. When this news was leaked out, my family was attacked by the main faction, and my father and brother died in battle, leaving me alone. What a pitiful big sister. Donghuang Li really wanted to go over and comfort her. Meanwhile, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji felt that there was a bit of a problem with the last sentence. This is a crazy hint. Selling my body to bury my father. So? Yi Hua asked faintly. Sir, I know that this matter is very difficult, but I still hope that you can make a trip with me, and after that, prove your identity as a martial artist. All the aristocratic factions wanted to have a friend like a martial artist, and this was also a measure of one's relationship network. Chapter 442. With a plop, Shidingting immediately knelt on the ground. Sir, if you can help my family escape this crisis, Shidingting, swear to the martial honor that I am willing to be your servant and serve you. Yi Hua looked towards his two wives. Look. Right now, I, the Supreme Overlord, am in hot demand. Don't you guys have any sense of crisis? Qinya and Bai Ji stood up and helped Shidingting up, and Qinya said with a smile, Miss, your words are too serious. My husband was just joking with you, we will help him. Thank you so much, sir and madam. I, Shidingting, will remember your kindness. Yi Hua took a deep breath, then said faintly, you can leave first. Yes, sir. After Shidingting left, the room was filled with a sour smell. Yi Hua carried his daughter and said with a smile, Ollie, what if mommy gets jealous? Kiss mama, even his daughter knew about it. Humph, who's jealous of you? Ollie, don't listen to your daddy, come to mommy's embrace. Dongwang Baiji stretched out her hand and hugged onto her daughter. Yi Hua said faintly, we are here to travel, and yet, you guys are here to interfere in other people's dispute. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji immediately realized that what they had done just now was wrong. Weren't we just jealous? Adding on the fact that the other party is also quite pitiful, furthermore, this isn't a difficult thing to do, all I have to do is to prove my strength. In Yi Hua's opinion, a woman's hair is long but her knowledge is short. If he went to show off, there would definitely be people eyeing him. Would he still be able to travel with peace of mind? However, the two women also pondered for a moment. They really didn't think about what they did just now. Yi Hua, we're sorry, we didn't consider things thoroughly. The two women apologized to their husbands. Yi Hua stretched out his hand and pinched onto his wife's cheeks. You too, don't be jealous and use your brains more. In actuality, when Yi Hua wasn't by their side, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji were very smart. However, as long as they were together with Yi Hua, it would be as if they had someone to rely on. They wouldn't think about anything else other than accompanying their husband, taking care of him, and loving him. Actually, a woman in love has a negative IQ. Mommy, you can be at ease, Daddy will definitely not leave the two of you. Dong Huangli also cheered for her mommy. The two girls giggled. They felt that they were indeed a little stingy and easily jealous. In actuality, if it was Yi Hua, he might have already made a move to exterminate them. He was not called the jealous king of the cultivation world for nothing. The warship entered a military base outside of the city, and Shidingting arranged a car for them. Shidingting brought Yi Hua's family of 4 back to the manor to have a meal, and in the afternoon, they would go to the home of martial arts. Sitting on the hover car and feeling the comfort of the seat, Yi Hua said faintly, this car is much better than the one at home. Shidingting, who was sitting in the front row, turned around and smiled. Sir, if you like it, I'll arrange one for you. Forget it, my world doesn't have such technology. Yi Hua didn't want to participate in this kind of world's revolution. The era had to progress slowly, and being too fast wasn't a good thing. Shidingting seemed to understand and didn't say anything else. Wow, what's that? Papa, is that a giraffe? Right now, the convoy was traveling outside the city, and in the outer city, there were a lot of wild animals. This was one of the big characteristics of wild animals, and Yi Hua wanted to bring his daughter to have a look at these wild animals. A gigantic creature walked beside them. Its neck was more than 10 meters long, and its body was enormous. From time to time, it would let out a deep roar. Ali, that is a spirit flame, a large herbivore. Shidingting introduced the spirit flame carefully. Clearly, Shidingting was already familiar with Ali. Dong Huangli mumbled, the dragon that Daddy found is indeed formidable. Yi Hua, this is cheating me. What dragon is that? Dong Huang Baiji asked curiously. Dong Wangli immediately reacted to what Dong Wang Baiji said. "Oh, the big dragon doll that daddy bought for Ali. It's so formidable." Dong Wang Baiji laughed lightly, then kissed onto her daughter's cheek, causing Ali to be extremely happy. "Daddy, that blue light is so beautiful." Dong Wangli pointed towards the blue shockwave that was coming from afar. Shi Tingting's pupils gradually enlarged, then shouted out, "Retreat! Retreat!" However, it was already too late. Boom! The blue shockwave fiercely collided onto the hover car, giving off a dazzling light. The two cars in front and behind were instantly engulfed by the shockwave. The battleship that Yi Hua saw just now could be seen slowly appearing in the sky. More than 10 figures flew over and started observing the situation. When the flames disappeared, Yi Hua's 2 hover cars were completely unscathed. Not even the paint on the cars had fallen off. Shi Tingting, who was at the front, was dumbstruck. What just happened? Why didn't I die? Could it be that I received the protection of the Martial King? Yi Hua turned his head around and looked towards his 2 wives. The 2 wives lowered their heads slightly. It was clear that they knew that they were in the wrong. Yi Hua opened the door and walked out of the car. Yi Hua stood in the sky, while Qingye and Dong Wang Baiji followed closely behind him. Gao Yi was that flustered and exasperated man from just now. Unresigned, he actually chose to block the road and assassinate Yi Hua. Although he had violated the law, he still did it. "Who are you all? Where is Shi Tingting?" Gao Yi shouted out angrily towards Yi Hua. "There are 10 martial disciples behind me, and their overall strength is enough to exterminate a family. Let me ask you all if you are afraid of me or not." Before Yi Hua could say anything, Shi Tingting, who was in the car, stretched out her head and shouted out, "Gao Yi, what you are doing is illegal." "So what? The aristocratic party has already abandoned you. Such a huge commotion, and yet, they did not come out to save you. From this, it can be seen that you are already an abandoned person." Gao Yi laughed madly. "Who asked you to abandon me? Gao Yi, you can kill me if you want. But, they are my guests." "Humph. They are just 3 martial disciples. If I can't defeat them, I will go and eat shit." Gao Yi was completely unaware of who was standing in front of him. If one has the strength to act cool, then that is called awesome. If one doesn't have the strength to act cool, then that is called an idiot. Furthermore, this is an iron plate among iron plates. If you kick it, your body will be smashed into pieces. Snap! The sound of a finger snapping could be heard. When Gao Yi heard it, he went into a daze for a moment. Bang! His entire body immediately exploded and transformed into a mist of blood. Even the martial disciples behind him were the same. Yi Hua looked at Qingye, who was beside him, in disbelief. "Good fellow. I, the Supreme Overlord, like women like you who kill without batting an eye. Do you think sh*t is something that you can eat whenever you want to?" Qingye said coldly. "I hate it the most when people scold my husband. In the past, I didn't have the strength, but now that I have the strength, I naturally have to stand up for my husband." Gao Yi's soul was crying out for injustice. "When did I scold people? Can you be reasonable?" Dong Wangli clapped her hands. "Mommy Qing is so formidable. Ali, quickly get into the car, you are not allowed to look." Qingye instructed. Dong Wangli responded, then sat into the car. However, Dong Wangli still stretched her head out to look at the battleship. Dong Wang Baiji's current strength was different from the past. Looking at the battleship that was preparing to jump, a purple longsword materialized on Dong Wang Baiji's right hand. Swish! 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 3 purple lights flew towards the battleship. Chapter 443. Vice Captain. 5 seconds left. Don't worry about 5 seconds. Jump now. Vice Captain, that will cause damage. Just jump when I tell you to. What's with all the nonsense? With a "bye" sound, the entire battleship seemed to have been sucked away by space and disappeared in an instant, while 3 purple lights flew into the sky. Did not hit the target, the Empress had failed. The Empress was very angry. Yihua patted on Dong Huang Baiji's shoulder and secretly clenched his right hand. You want to leave? How could this be? The battleship that was in the middle of jumping was wrapped by an unknown force. The hard protective armor outside seemed to be squeezed by something and instantly deformed and caved in. Boom, boom, boom. The battleship could not withstand the pressure and exploded in the spacetime black hole. Yihua's hands were even more awesome than the infinity gloves. The 3 continued to board the car, and Yihua said faintly, "Let's go." Oh, yes. Shi Tingting swallowed her saliva. As expected of a martial artist. Too amazing. As an ordinary person, Shi Tingting couldn't feel the fluctuations of aura at all. She thought they were all martial artists. Very soon, the floating car entered the city district. Qinya, Dong Huang Baiji, and Dong Huangli were all attracted by the city that was filled with technology. It was just like watching a sci-fi movie. There were many strange species walking on the streets, and there was actually someone who looked like an octopus. Wow, mommy, look, it's Donald Duck. Dong Huangli was very excited. This is what a vacation is like, Daddy is so formidable. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji were very happy as well, and they looked just like happy little girls. Yihua displayed the sitting posture of a big boss. However, his gaze was also sizing up the city in front of him. This city is indeed not bad. However, the bodies of my wives are even better. Yihua stealthily hugged onto Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji's willowy waist and lightly rubbed against them. The 2 wives' faces were about to bleed. This bastard is becoming more and more perverted. Sir, let's go eat first, Shi Tingting said. Yihua nodded his head. Indeed, I didn't eat breakfast when I went out today. The hover car flew to the tallest building in the city. When it flew to the side, a window of the building stretched out, and the hover car stopped on top of it. The 5 of them got out. Shi Tingting pressed the shell of the car, and the whole car turned into a capsule. This technique was quite awesome. Sir, are you satisfied? Shi Tingting asked carefully. Yihua swept his gaze across the people on this floor. What are you trash looking at? My woman is just this beautiful. If you have the guts, then go ahead and try taking liberties with her. Unfortunately, Yihua is going to be disappointed. There is actually not a single long outyan among these people. Boring, boring. These people were all pointing at Shi Tingting and whispering. Shi Tingting knew what they were talking about and said in a low voice, Sir, I'm so sorry. Nothing, where do you want to sit? Yihua said faintly. All of them were salted fishes, and at the very most, they were the kind of salted fishes that were of a higher level, and they even had some brains. Daddy, let's sit next to the window. Ali wants to look at the scenery. Dong Huangli pulled onto the corner of her father's clothes, then pointed towards the seat that was beside the window and was currently empty. Indeed, the scenery would be pretty good. What does it matter if my daughter wants a seat? Even if my daughter wants the entire blue blaze star, this sovereign will satisfy my daughter. But if it was a son, he would fight for it with his own ability. Right now, Yihua also had the thought of raising a daughter from the rich and raising a son from the poor. It seems like I am also poor. In actuality, Yihua neglected one thing, and that's right. On Earth, my wives have plenty of money, but on Blue Blaze Star, RMB isn't useful anymore. In other words, if I have to take on the responsibility of earning money, will I, the Supreme Overlord, go and earn money? Don't think too much about it. Therefore, Yihua reluctantly helped Shi Tingting. In exchange, Yihua felt that he should let Shi Tingting pay for the expenses of this trip. Sir, that seat won't do. Shi Tingting said anxiously. Yihua turned his head around and took a look at Shi Tingting, then said faintly, At my place, there is nothing that won't do. What a handsome man. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji smiled but didn't say anything. Even if they are going to travel, they still have to act cool. The 5 of them sat down, and Dong Huangli lied on the side of the big transparent window. While looking at the strange world in front of her, a cute smile appeared on Dong Huang Li's face. "Daddy, it's so beautiful," Dong Huang Li mumbled. This city was indeed out of the ordinary when matched with the 3 huge satellites in the sky. This was all artificially adjusted beauty, and it had the most scientific basis. All of the plants and the layout of the buildings in the city were all a kind of aesthetic. Suddenly, a man who was holding onto a stack of paper, with a humble smile on his face, began handing out leaflets. Very quickly, the leaflet arrived at Yihua's table. The man took out a piece of paper and placed it on the table, then said with a smile, "Space Administration, 5 social insurance and 1 housing fund, with double holidays and annual leave, please understand it." Right after the man finished speaking, 3 to 4 soldiers who were wearing high-tech armor walked over, grabbed onto the man, then took off the man's clothes and left. Yihua picked up the leaflet and took a look. The nature of the job is rather interesting. Apprehend space-time criminals. The nature of the job in this space administration is pretty good. Why is there a need to employ this kind of method to recruit people? Yihua asked curiously. Tingting said respectfully, "Sir, there is something you don't know, but the job in the space administration is very dangerous. Furthermore, I have to go on a business trip all year round, and it is hard to say if I will be able to come back alive. Adding on the fact that the treatment is bad and the pension is low, I might as well stay on this planet and be a policeman." Qingye asked curiously, "Why not increase the treatment?" The space administration is sent by the royal family. Most of the profits from the space administration are taken away by the royal family, and the remaining profits are insignificant. Yihua paused for a moment, then asked, "You are from the aristocratic faction, and right now, there is still the royal family faction. What other factions are there?" "Sir, there is still the bishop faction. The one who attacked us today is the bishop faction, and they are in the imperial city. Every single faction has a martial king overseeing it, and their strength is very terrifying." Yihua let out an "oh," expressing his fear. "Sir, I am really sorry. Because of my matter, you all offended the bishop faction, and I am going to be kicked out of the aristocratic faction. I have disturbed Sir's travel plans." Tingting expressed her apology for bringing trouble to Yihua and his family. Dong Huangli stood on the sofa and said with a smile, "Big sister Shi, you don't have to worry, Daddy is very formidable." Tingting laughed. "Martial artists are indeed very formidable, but that is only in this kind of small city. If one were to go to the imperial city, martial artists are nothing much. Yo, let me see who it is." "So it is Tingting. Don't you know that this seat is specially reserved for me, Feng Lulan?" A sarcastic remark could be heard, and a well-developed woman could be seen holding onto a handsome man's arm. And when that man saw Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji, he was clearly shocked. How can there be such a beautiful woman in the world? Chapter 444. You guys are martial artists? Feng Lulan's expression could be seen immediately changing, and she asked with a fawning look on her face. From this, it could be seen how popular martial artists were. If Xiao Yi knew that martial artists were so popular here, he would definitely stay here and develop himself. Yihua didn't say anything, and Dong Huang Baiji, who was the empress, also didn't say anything. Only Qingye spoke on behalf of the family. "That's right," Qingye said faintly. Dong Huangli also pointed at herself and said, "Ali is also a martial artist." Feng Lulan was shocked. Not only was Feng Lulan shocked, everyone who was from the aristocratic faction was also shocked. They didn't expect that Tingting, who was about to be banished, would actually bring 4 martial artists here to have a meal. Right now, no one dared to look down on Tingting anymore. Pa! A loud and clear sound of a slap rang out in the dining hall. Everyone looked at Feng Lulan. When this woman becomes ruthless, she's simply inhumane. Yihua and the others were also very confused. Everything was clearly fine. Why did you suddenly slap your own man? Look at that man, he was holding on to his face, completely stupefied, completely unable to understand why he suddenly slapped himself. Feng Lulan smiled towards Tingting and said, "Tingting, this man deserves to die. He actually dared to seduce me. Fortunately, I noticed some clues just now and didn't continue to be fooled by him. Tingting sneered. The man shouted out that he was wronged. I didn't do anything just now, and you slapped me for no reason at all, and you even said that I seduced you. Simply too shameless. Who seduced you? Lan, it was obviously you who seduced me. Tingting, listen to my explanation. The man could be seen kneeling in front of Tingting and begging. He knew that Tingting was about to rise up. Lan said, Tingting, don't ever believe this man's words, his mouth is full of sweet words. Although he was your fiancé in the past, he actually shamelessly seduced me, making me feel ashamed. This man was indeed Tingting's fiancé in the past, until he was seduced by Lan. When he had nothing to do, he would bring his male pet to show off, and today was also the same. Just that he saw that there was a martial artist beside Tingting. It could be seen that martial artists were truly popular. Tingting, don't listen to his nonsense, it was this woman who drugged me, that's why I did something that let you down, and she even threatened me, saying that if I don't kneel down and lick her, she will beat me up. Lan yelled, men, drag him out and beat the shit out of him. Fulfill his wish. Instantly, a few fully armed men in mechas walked over and dragged the man away. However, the man was still struggling. Ting, I know I was wrong. Please save me. I won't dare to do it again. I'll serve you well. However, Tingting ignored them. So spicy, Donghuang Baiji smiled gently and opened the bottle. An enchanting fragrance emitted out from the bottle of Bao mineral water, and the fragrance quickly filled the entire dining hall. Everyone closed their eyes and enjoyed this moment of comfort. Their minds felt incomparably relaxed, and it was as if all of the worries in their minds had vanished into thin air. Tingting, who was the closest to the bottle, was able to sense this fragrance even more. Furthermore, this fragrance seems to be familiar to Tingting. I remember back then when I went to the imperial capital with my father. I was fortunate enough to stand among the crowd and see the emperor. And back then, the emperor seemed to have opened a bottle of national wine for the sake of celebrating. According to the legends, the national wine had been stored for over 1,000 years. When the national wine was opened, it was also this fragrance that made everyone present feel intoxicated. Everyone looked towards the direction of the national wine. After all, the dining hall was only so big, and they would be able to find the national wine very quickly. Is that the national wine? One of the aristocrats muttered. How can it be the national wine? That is the emperor's most valuable treasure. Unless it is a major festival or a celebration, the emperor would not take out the national wine. That's right, the current martial king viewed a small bottle of national wine as a treasure. However, this fragrance is indeed as described, it makes one feel intoxicated. Donghuang Baiji pinched onto her daughter's face and said dotingly, stretch out your hand. Donghuang Li stretched out her pair of small hands. However, Donghuang Baiji took the bottle and poured the water out. When everyone saw Donghuang Baiji's action, they widened their eyes. This is too much of a spendthrift. This spendthrift woman, she actually used this kind of water to wash her daughter's hands. Chapter 445. Donghuang Li washed her hands clean, then held onto Bao with both of her hands. Gulp, gulp, he drank an entire bottle in one go. Burp, so cool. Looking at her daughter's adorable look, Donghuang Baiji stretched out her hand and smoothed her daughter's hair. No matter what, we are still outside, I have to pay attention to my image. Donghuang Baiji took out another bottle. Tingting, who was sitting opposite, was dumbfounded. No wonder he used it to wash his hands. All the nobles also discovered that the beautiful woman actually had a lot of such things. Should I buy a bottle? Qinya opened the bottle cap and personally poured a cup for Tingting. This caused Tingting to be very terrified as she took the cup with both of her hands and received it. When the nobles saw that Tingting could drink such wine, they were simply envious and jealous. Tingting felt very honored. Their family was really nice. Tingting took a sip of the water. This kind of feeling was like being in the sea. His body and mind were completely relaxed, and the joy of the brain was incomparable. This was the sublimation of the soul. No. I can't drink anymore. Sir, I don't want to drink anymore. Yihua slightly wrinkled his brows. Not giving me any face at all? Tingting didn't finish her sentence. I want to store it and drink it slowly in the future. Yihua's brows gradually unfurrowed. To them, this water might be a treasure, but to me, this water is merely something that I can use to wash my daughter's hands. Voidless Realm spring water is truly one of a kind. Perhaps, even in the entire Milky Way galaxy, there wouldn't be so many spring water. It would be a lie to say that they weren't envious. Some of the nobles began to whisper and discuss bad things. After dinner, Tingting brought Yihua and his family to martial arts home. Every city has a martial arts home that provides tests and assessments. The rating is produced in the martial arts home. The higher the rank, the bigger the city, the smaller the city. Of course, this is only for the Blue Blaze Star, because this small city is as big as a province. But small cities like this were quite common on the Blue Blaze Star. Looking at the 2-story tall martial arts home in front of him, Yihua felt that this martial arts home was a bit too shabby. Sir, this is a small place. There aren't many people who learn martial arts here, so the scale looks very ordinary. Tingting explained. Compared to the other buildings, this martial arts house was indeed shabby, but there were a lot of people going in and out. There are humans, and there are also other races. This is truly an eye-opener. I wonder if I will be able to see Wei Chang's relatives. Mommy, do you think that if I take a photo with those strange uncles, will they pay any attention to Ali? Dong Huangli hugged onto her mother's thigh and looked at those aliens. The staff member announced, Gao Can, 3rd rank martial disciple. The crowd went into an uproar. As expected of Gao family's young master, he is already a 3rd rank martial disciple at such a young age. I heard that his older brother, Gao Yi, is also a martial artist. This main sect is incredible, they even stole away the limelight. Gao Can is so handsome. Gao Can, who was on the stage, swung his head, causing a few females to scream out continuously. At this moment, another man walked onto the stage. The man was dressed in ordinary clothes, but the crowd's reaction was very strange. Yihua felt very curious and asked, "Who is he?" "Sir, he is from the royal family, his name is Zhou Jie." In the past, he was also very impressive, reaching 5th rank martial disciple at such a young age. He could be said to be the youngster with the most potential of the year, but for some reason, he suddenly became weak and fell down from the altar, thus losing the support of his family. After Tingting explained, Qingye and Dongwang Baiji felt that this youngster had quite a bit of perseverance. He did not get knocked down by the difficulties. After listening to Zhou Jie's story, Yihua didn't think much about it. In any case, it was just a story of a hard-working youngster who finally reached the peak of his life after going through untold hardships. Too cliché. Zhou Jie slowly walked up the stairs, and behind him, some people were ridiculing him. I remember that in the past, they would always follow behind him and bootlick him. "Young Master Zhou, don't waste your effort, in any case, isn't it better to just eat and wait for death?" "Ha ha ha, that's right, young Master Zhou, you are already no longer the genius Zhou of the past." Chapter 446. Zhou Jie listened to the ridiculing voices. Zhou Jie clenched his fists. These are all despicable people. When I recover my strength, I will let them know how powerful I am. Zhou Jie stood in the horse stance and clenched his right fist, then shouted out, "Ah!" Bang! Everyone was waiting for the result to be announced. The strength of that punch seems to be quite strong. Could it be that this Zhou Jie recovered his strength? Zhou Jie, beginner martial disciple. The crowd started booing. I thought that this Zhou Jie had risen to power, but it turns out that he is still the same. "Hey, Zhou Jia, I heard that if you continue to be like this today, Shi family will break off the engagement. What a pity for Shi family's Shi Sihan. That's right, whoever follows such a trash would definitely not be able to stand it. Dong Wangli felt that the big brother on the stage was rather pitiful, being ridiculed by everyone. However, Dong Wangli admired the big brother's endurance. It seems like he has already gotten used to it. Zhou Jia looked at the group of despicable people coldly and shouted out angrily, "Life is full of ups and downs, don't bully the young for being poor." Zhou Jia's words were very imposing, causing everyone to go into a daze. However, after a short while, the crowd burst into laughter. Gao Kan pointed at Zhou Jia and shouted out, "Look at this idiot, acting cool here even though he doesn't have the strength. Hurry up and go back, Shi family has already broken off the engagement with your family. You should save those words for your fiancé." Ha ha ha. After Gao Kan finished speaking, the crowd burst into laughter once again. Zhou Jia's face became gloomy as he memorized the faces of those who were laughing. "I will settle the scores with all of them in the future." After snorting coldly, Zhou Jia walked down the stage and walked outside. Bang! It was unknown who tripped Zhou Jia, causing him to fall on his face. Everyone burst into laughter once again. Zhou Jia was so angry that his chest was about to explode. These trash. Wait till I recover my strength, I will make you pay for what you did today. Big brother, are you alright? A pleasant voice sounded out. Zhou Jia slowly raised his head and saw a little girl who was wearing a princess dress in front of him. The little girl's gaze was filled with concern. Facing the little girl's concern, Zhou Jia felt that it was ironic. Since when did a little girl like me have the right to care about me? Zhou Jia stood up and said coldly, "It's none of your business." Dong Wangli pouted her mouth, then walked back into the group. Right now, Dong Wangli finally understood why everyone wanted to bully him. Looking at her unhappy daughter, Dong Wang Baiji held onto Yihua's arm and said, "Yihua, our daughter is angry." Qinya was a bit unhappy too, my pitiful little Ali. He clearly wanted to do a good deed, but in the end, the other party didn't appreciate his kindness. Yihua did not say anything. Not all good deeds will be rewarded with good deeds. My daughter also has to understand this point. Why would I be ridiculed by everyone? This is not without reason. The person who was standing in front of Dong Wangli was a young girl. Compared to everyone present, the young girl could be considered to be the youngest. The young girl's appearance was pretty good, and she could be counted as a beauty. The woman turned around and crouched down, comforting him, "Don't be sad, I've encountered it before." "Is that so?" Dong Wangli raised her head and asked adorably. Seeing how cute Dong Wangli was, the girl said with a smile, "Of course, there are a lot of them. So there are many such things." Ali understands now. "Ali, what's your name?" the girl asked curiously. "My name is Dong Wangli, big sister, what is your name?" The girl smiled and said, "My surname is Zi Che and my name is Qingyi." Dong Wangli appeared to be very polite as she stretched out her hand and said, "So it's big sister Qingyi, hello, little Ali," Qingyi said with a faint smile. "Ali, did you come alone?" Dong Wangli shook her head, then pointed at her parents who were not far away from her. "I didn't, Daddy and Mommy came with me." Qingyi looked over and saw Yihua and the others. Soon after, Qingyi asked curiously, "Ali has been practicing martial arts at such a young age? So powerful." Dong Wangli said proudly, "Of course, Ali has been practicing martial arts since she was a child." Qingyi smiled but didn't say anything. "You're already so young, so how young are you going to be?" Ali's parents probably just wanted to train their child. "Little guy, being able to punch through a piece of paper with your little fist is already not bad." A young man standing at the side laughed. Qingyi looked at the man and said, "Fei Bai. You're so shameless to bully a little girl." Fei Bai was a delicate-looking boy, and he was also one of the young people present. "Qingyi, I'm just speaking the truth, isn't that right, everyone?" Fei Bai spread out his hands, and some of the people around him nodded their heads. What kind of strength can a little girl have? Dong Huangli pouted her small mouth and had a very angry look on her face. If it wasn't for Daddy and Mommy watching, I would have punched him right now and let him know that not only can Ali's little fist punch through a piece of paper, it can also punch through your body. Little fellow, it's better for you to go into Daddy and Mommy's embrace. This is the world of adults, it's very dangerous. Fei Bai laughed, then walked onto the stage. Of course, there was also Zish Qingyi. Zish Qingyi took a deep breath, shouted delicately, and punched out. Boom! Zish Qingyi. Third rank martial disciple. Everyone present went into an uproar. To be able to reach third rank martial disciple at such a young age, this is truly amazing. As expected of Zish Qingyi, this proud daughter of heaven. Fei Bai, who was at the side, was not to be outdone either, and his entire body actually emitted out faint spiritual energy. This time, the entire place became silent. Spiritual energy actually leaked out. Bang! This sound caused everyone's ears to go numb. Fei Bai. Fourth rank martial disciple. Everyone was no longer able to remain calm, even Gao Can's expression was gloomy. This Fei Bai is also from the main faction. Although they are from the same faction, he actually dared to step on my head. This is truly hateful. When the time comes, I will let Big Brother go and teach him a lesson. Completely unaware that his own big brother had already died. The three elders who were sitting at the side revealed a gratified smile. All of these youngsters are not bad, their future prospects are boundless. This time, it was Dong Huangli's turn. Qingye and Dong Huangbaiji were both excited, and they tightly held on to their husbands' hands. Although they knew of their daughter's strength, looking at the current situation, they couldn't help but feel worried for their daughter. Originally, Dong Huangli was only so big, standing in the crowd, it was impossible to notice her at all. Right now, when everyone saw Dong Huangli going onto the stage, they all laughed out loud. With such a small height, not even the equipment on the stage can reach her. Yi Hua and his two wives were very angry. These damn trash are actually laughing at our daughter, we really want to directly kill them. Little fellow, quickly go home and watch cartoons. That's right, little fellow, this place is very dangerous. Little fellow, quickly go home, don't let Daddy and Mommy worry. Although Yi Hua was laughing, he was laughing at how cute Dong Huangli was. Yi Hua wasn't laughing at Dong Huangli, after all, Dong Huangli has never seen a little girl before. Dong Huangli pouted her small mouth. Ali is angry. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.